totally confused about how the entire process works.
No, I think it would be funny to just stare at the camera.
Let's do that then. Oh, hi there.
Are we going?
I love that we're talking precisely when we're off camera. There we go. That works. Hi, everybody. We're back.
It's a new year, and we are just as much of a challenge to our lovely crew. We love you, lovely crew.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Wednesday Club.
Where we say we'll do things, and then we do different things.
Then we do
suddenly,
different things.
without telling anyone.
And we contradict each other constantly?
No,
we
we don't. I missed you.
Oh, don't. You gotta watch Making Me Laugh Too Much.
You need to explain that because I'm
so
wincing looking at you.
Yeah.
I got back into my boxing classes last night.
Dude.
And which is great because I only did like 2 or 3 over the break, but I typically do like 3 or 4 a week, and like getting back into it, like now, like it's easy for me to pull a muscle over here when
You typically do 3 boxing classes a week?
Yeah.
How long have you been dangerous?
I don't think I'm.
Oh, it's not that kind of boxing. He's getting a job on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
They make you do a course.
Well done, sir. That was very fast.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Not as fast as Amazon Prime.
I started in June last year,
Cool.
like May or June of last year. Yeah. So,
Nice. So you got to mix it up with some Daredevil obsession now.
Yeah.
I have come to appreciate Daredevil on a much higher level than I ever thought I would, which is actually kind of fun. Like, there'll be times when I'm in class and I'm like, this is what Matt Murdock does. Yeah.
You need a Wildcat costume. You remember Wildcat's the boxer.
Yes.
Wildcat. Oh.
Ted. What's his face?
Ted, what's his face?
What's Ted's
I thought
last
you were
name?
talking about Trish
Chad.
Walker.
What? Grant. Thank
Ted
you,
Grant.
Ted Grant.
Ted Grant.
Ted Grant.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday Club. Glad you could join us.
We should, but we have a thing we have to do.
We do have a thing that we need to do. It is sexy sax time.
He begged
With
us not to do that.
No, hard pass on that title. Hi,
Sexy
everybody.
sex.
It's the beginning of our year, and I wanted to start off really quickly by adding a bunch of new moderators to our chat room who are really awesome. We love mods. Good mods make for good channels, and we have the best mods going. And we're going to add, believe it or not, 7 more of them today. I have a sword here in case that you need demonstration of what it is we're going to be handing to them. All right, so there are actually too many mods for me to just like type on a computer very quickly in front of all of you. So actually, Denoba is in the background putting them in as we speak. So Sinforia, welcome. Here's a sword for you. Yebba Debba, here's your sword. Risky Pixels, I'm particularly proud of this. Here's a sword for you. Thanks for all the iconography. Andy Insomnia, here is your sword.
Yes.
J.A. Penrose, a sword for you.
Work it. Mistress herself.
Chaotic Looney, this seems like a bad idea. Here's a sword for you. Jeff M0307, a sword for you. So that's 7 new moderators who will be modding all throughout. Please give them a lot of respect. And they can, yay! We all appreciate your incredible work. If you have a question about the channel and the Geek Center account is not on at the moment because we're running around behind the camera making stuff happen, mods can usually help. And if they can't help, they can bring the question up to me in our moderation chat, and I can come and give you the answer later on. Our mods are fantastic. They catch a lot of the typos and other random stuff too in our promotions, like, hey, that's the wrong schedule, asshole. They don't say asshole.
They say sexy sax.
No.
And then they follow that
right.
with a saxophone solo.
That we can't legally use. All right, so be good to your mods, be good to your Wednesday Club hosts, and we love you too, Wednesdaisies, and I will see you next time we have mods or other things. Enjoy, bye.
Woo!
Yay!
Good work, Sax.
That was.
Can we play
everything.
him off, please?
Wait, we needed something. I think we're gonna get yelled at if we keep
Legally
doing that.
distinct.
Yeah, I think we all just got fired.
Yeah, no, like that.
New Wednesday Club next week!
That's the great thing. While the cameras are running, they just have to let us do whatever.
It's like slowly
and then
3 other hosts.
when the show ends, it's like, oh, he's our boss.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. Oh, he's our boss. Oh.
It's true. We can only really go mad with power while the camera's rolling.
Yeah.
And then we're just
Speaking of
really
Mad
in
with
trouble.
Power, welcome new mods. We're so
Wow,
excited.
that's
Thank you,
fantastic.
thank you, thank you.
Congrats.
Embrace the power.
I also, like, maybe somewhat unfairly, but love that heavily represented on that mod list are our own Wednesdaisies.
Yes,
Thank you. Y'all are the best.
Y'all are the best.
I don't even know where to.
Happy New Year. Happy everyone is back. Happy Wednesday Club, first day back club.
Happy New Year.
That's a lot of.
Feels like it's been
happiness.
18,000 years.
Been
It
so
really
long.
does. It's very strange. It was like.
They got us the big monitor again, so we
Yay,
can
we
actually
can actually read
choose
it.
this.
That is just proof that we're not in control. They got us the big monitor. Like.
I don't bring a monitor to work.
No, I know. It's
Yes.
just like they're in control of the monitor. They can't like.
I
They're
bring an
very much in
anti-monitor.
control.
Oh, comic book joke. Yeah.
It is weird. Like it was like we were gone for maybe 14 days, but it's like, it's been 7 months. How are you?
I feel like it's been like, yeah, it's been a little
Well,
while.
dude, you've been on
The
the other
first
side
day
of the
felt
world.
like 7 days, and the next 3 hours felt like a.
Long time, and then 10 minutes for the. Yeah, no, I went to Germany and I went to Ireland and I've been all over. I've been globetrotting.
And you saw some bog mummies.
I saw so many bog mummies.
That was what. So if you want to know one of the most Taliesin text messages of all time.
No.
About a week ago, he texted Amy and me and said,
I may have been
"Hey,
drunk."
You guys want to see some bog mummies?"
That's it. We didn't need any like
didn't-
extenuating circumstance. It made
No.
perfect sense on its own.
Well, even like sober Taliesin would say
No, but
that.
like the thing about bog mummies is you don't send an unsolicited bog mummy pic to somebody because that's rude. I mean, like
This
it
is excellent
it
bog
is.
mummy
It was like
etiquette.
it was very much like this is a
Mummy etiquette.
photograph of a very well preserved dead person. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and it definitely for some people is the stuff that nightmares are made of. So I was like, I always preface the the bog mummy pic with, "You want to see a bog mummy?" Do you? I'll say I got
Selena
them
wants it.
loaded. Oh man, they're nuts.
They're amazing.
One looks like Travis, even though he has no head.
Miss Sunflower says, "You saw some what?"
Bog
What?
mummies. Yeah, if you're really in the, I may, Google if you're feeling daring, but yeah, they're.
Stop and have a courtesy moment with yourself where you say, "Do I really want to see a bog mummy?"
There's some amazing museums
do,
at Trinity
you do.
College, and I did like the little museum round, and one of them is the Antiquities Museum, which has Viking ships and like beautiful Catholic art and
Artifacts
and
and,
like
yeah,
the
Dated
relics.
manuscripts and things.
Well, they had actually like these amazing boxes that they're shrines. They're called shrines. The Catholic shrines, which are these little boxes that are meant to hold like the tooth of a saint.
Oh, like a reliquary.
Yeah, exactly. And they had tons of those on display, and then they had the bog mummies, and they had like clothing that they had discovered that had been perfectly preserved and all this crazy stuff. And on the other side, they just had stuffed animals, just tons of them, including like these.
Like plush stuffed animals or
Not
like
that plush, but like
Historic
real,
stuffed animals?
yeah, like real, like all the
Like
different
taxidermy.
but
Okay.
like kind of iffy because it was turn of the century, and like they had a giant deer that was like one like these ancient, like the ancient deer that used to run. They were like the size of moose.
Wait, really? There were big old deer?
Well, skeletons because they're ancient, but yes, they were really.
Wait, like when you
Well,
say
that makes
ancient,
mythology seem even cooler because I feel like deer are a thing, and if they were
Yeah.
really huge and impressive, that would explain a lot.
Yeah, no, it's just like really like oh, is that a moose? Was my first thought. That looks like a really angry big moose. And
are you
like,
talking
nope.
about like the giant like white stags that like the elves of Mirkwood ride on?
More or less. I mean, you couldn't tell what color they were because they were skeletonized, but so like more like a ring wraith. But yeah, it was pretty nuts.
Was it Mirkwood or Lothlorien?
And then there was like a
Now I'm
museum
stuck
full
on
of
my LLTR.
I
medical.
don't know
Mercer in
who
here.
rides on deer.
Yeah.
The elf, like didn't the elves ride on giant stags?
I'm not saying
Princess
you're wrong. I just
Mononoke
do not
rode on
remember.
the giant stag.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I was thinking Lord of the.
Yeah, and then there was a medical oddity museum, which was really disturbing and awesome. But like, I will not recommend you find pictures of that because it'll give you nightmares about everything that's wrong with your body. Other than that,
Yay! Also, let's remind our listeners of our new Wednesdaily.
Yes.
Wednesdaysy segment, the Daily Wednesday. Is that correct?
Starting next week, we are going to be periodically featuring a letters column section because you cannot be comics without a letters column. I'm so excited. We asked y'all to suggest titles, and after extensive discussion, we settled on Derek Lee Ketchum, Eric Doe's suggestion from Discord, which was the Daily Wednesday. And we have a beautiful graphic that we had nothing to do with. It just looks amazing.
no, it's
It just looks
amazing.
It
really
was
cool.
Caleb, right?
yeah.
That Caleb made, which is awesome that we will bust out for that. And I think didn't confirm with you.
We've also got Ken Wynn's art.
Yes,
While
we
we're
do.
talking about
Last
Caleb,
week,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you
Yeah,
off. I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
that's
Our
what you
usual
were
hat
jumping
tips.
to.
We have beautiful background art from Ken, as always,
Yes.
that we left up.
Survive. It was great.
I feel like meteors are coming in on it, and I didn't notice them.
I think that's Superman and Supergirl, personally. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my feeling.
I think they're having some atmospheric issues.
Yeah, they're like cosmic cribs. yeah, we all have these strange piles, and then some digital, some not. That was the whole concept of this week, is to actually try and catch up.
Our plan for this week was to sort of just take some time over break to read like things at random or that you were behind on or something like that, and then all come back and compare and share. So how'd we do?
I did a lot. I didn't do nearly as much reading as I wanted to, but I did a lot of reading. So I had a great break. It's one of those things where it's like we're blessed to have a show called the Wednesday Club where we get to read comic books that are based on a topic. But the other side of that, the corollary, is that it's like, oh, but I don't have time to read all my Doctor Strange comics this week, or catch up on my Marvel events, or what's going on with the DC heavy metal do. So that's
That's
what
the
I did.
official, the DC heavy metal do is the name of that storyline forever.
I'm a big fan of the heavy metal do.
Also, hello, Stefflings. We are being raided right now. There's a
are we?
stampede of Stefflings.
Oh, wow. Hello. Look at that.
Well, I've only got a couple things here I want to show off real quick.
Yeah, we all have a bit of show and tell.
Yeah.
Yay!
I didn't know I had show and tell until I came to work today. And our good friend Jody Hauser made this for me. Well, I guess it's, you can't really, where did it go?
There.
It is.
In front of me.
It can't really, I
Oh,
guess, see
well,
it.
Yeah,
It's pretty.
she's been experimenting with this.
But this is from a free comic book. She didn't tell me which one it is. It's a key ring she made for me. And it,
Can I see?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Here,
Just as he was
this is
zooming.
Probably, yeah. I'll do
Oh
it.
my goodness.
But it says, what, like Trapster, but it's missing an E. It says, without the E, like a cool Trapster, or, because last year on Signal Boost, we made Trapster a word, and I don't know why. It was a thing that happened. We all called each other Trapster for a very long time. And it could be good, or it could be bad, or, it had a variety of meanings. But she saw that and thought it was great. I'm excited that I have that.
I want a pair of teen brother-sister villains called Trapper and Keeper.
Oh!
They can fight Miss Marvel. It'll be great. You know you want it.
I desperately want that now.
Yeah.
I desperately want that.
I know. I'm like thinking about it. It's really like Lisa Frank
Try to
costumes.
think like what their organized supervillain gang would be that would end up turning out to be just literally a club at a high school.
Yeah.
But have some official sounding title.
And like, is there something with like 3-ring binder, like the 3-ring?
The 3-ring
Trapper, Keeper, and the
3-ring binders.
binders.
Yeah. No, there's a third. Yeah. I don't know who would be the third.
With pockets,
Yeah.
that was the thing. I always wanted the ones with pockets because then you could put stuff in front and behind,
the
like
Velcro.
little collages.
Everybody under 30 is wondering what the hell we're talking about.
Oh, that actually came up. Somebody referenced Trapper Keepers the other day, and then people online were like, "What is
What
that?"
is a
And
Trapper
we were
Keeper?
Explaining it to each other. So Google Trapper Keepers.
Yeah, they're.
Trapper, Keeper, in the pencil box.
Ooh.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's actually
I
pretty
always
good.
Loved having pencil boxes.
Yeah, Trapper Keepers were like the thing.
Also, real quick, just to show
yeah,
this
show off.
This is from Chief, who knows me
Yeah.
incredibly well. These books are very hard for me to find. There we go. He had this, I believe, in his box. Did you have this in your pull box or your long box, Chief?
Yeah, it was in my cabinet.
Yeah, he just had this in his cabinet, and he knows that I'm a giant fan of.
You can't keep up with it. There you
of
go.
the Darkhold.
That whole Agents
and-
of S.H.I.E.L.D. season, yeah.
Back off of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
They did a whole Darkhold thing, man.
They did, and I don't think they did it right.
Aww.
I don't. I
Which season was that? I don't think I got
last
there
season.
yet.
It was last season.
Last season.
It was last season. But I also like I just I was so mad because Darkhold could be such a great series in and of itself because it's the most evil book in the Marvel universe, and it gets out and the pages get ripped and scattered throughout Earth.
Yeah,
And then the
fantastic premise.
Darkhold Redeemers are going. They're like, oh, this weird this person
They're
is
like, I
doing
can get
weird
5 cents for
magic.
this bottle cap, and
Now I can put a page, I can go redeem this page and put it back into the book and save humanity from yet another dark spell. It's like a monster of the week, but it's built into the story. And then they didn't do that. They
No, they
made it
didn't.
some
But
weird.
the
It's science we don't understand. Stop it!
I've never
I've
seen.
actually seen interesting arguments break out between the folks who love the magic is another form of science and the folks who hate the magic is another form of science angle on that kind of storytelling. I'm guessing you land on one side or the other of that one.
I'm actually perfectly well in the middle. I
Okay.
think that there's a balance to it. I think that because I think that that's the way. Like I honestly believe this. I think that I don't necessarily believe in astrology, but I do believe that there are forces that we don't understand that actually could be at play there. So while I'm like, I don't know that the stars guide my lives, I'm also of the same mind of, but what do I know? You know, so like I think that there's a really cool balance to, yes, there is a lot of science that to a lesser mind or less informed mind could be perceived as magic. But I also think the scientific mind gets wrapped up in its own sort of hubris that it fails to acknowledge that there are mysteries that we don't understand and haven't been able to solve yet.
Okay, I can see that that is sort of like striking a middle path. This is just something I'm curious about where people come down on, because there are folks who sort of say like, well, representing those areas of knowledge as just basically like a branch of science we don't have good methodology for yet. For some folks, they're like, yes, that's perfect. It's a way to classify other forms of knowledge. You wouldn't really approach them any differently.
Yeah.
But then they're like, the other side of that argument is basically saying, like someone who saw the Doctor Strange movie and was sort of making the argument that you must present it as something different, because if it could be understood in a similar or analogous way to existing sciences, that takes away the thing that makes it magical.
Exactly. And
so,
that's where
I
I'm
don't
at,
know.
because magic really is very much based in like wonder. What is that? That's not, you can't explain that. Like, so like when Thor did that in the original
Okay, well, the
movie,
first two of those are science, just for the record. Wonder and what is that are the foundations of
fair
science.
Fair enough. But like from my perspective, like I really loved when Thor did that in the initial movie. I was like, that's interesting. Okay, like Yggdrasil is like just like this world tree that connects these other realms. It's sort of like a wormhole or portal or whatever. That's really cool. Okay, I can get behind that. But then I wanted to see them start to get away from that and get to places where they're like, you know what? Yeah, these people can conjure like shields around them. Like, I think that's awesome. Like, I also think that's cool. I think there's validity on both sides. So
I always come down on like I love the notion of the pseudoscience stories of things like, if you know, like the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern questions game. Like questions is a perfect example of like logic taken to its strange form. And then on the other end of that, in just more of a magical practice, I love the shapes game from like Sandman, from when they go to hell and they have the shape changing game.
Spoilers for volume.
Spoilers for volume. It's been out for a while. I feel okay.
Yeah.
But
I think
I like the notion of like using like fantastical science to like deal with external things that are external, and like just laws and fundamental laws and notions of the universe that we can't understand, and then allowing magic to be something different.
Yeah.
And letting the rules of magic and the ideas of and obviously because it's narrative, everything always has to have rules, or else narrative breaks down. But having the notion of letting magic be more of that of the internal dialogue and be about the internal perception of the world and the ideas of like you being able to name things and therefore control them, and having associations that are created within the mind and created from a source of consciousness that have nothing to do with science. That they're just a whole different. It's a whole different form, and therefore the two of them don't have to like overlap in weird ways.
yeah.
I don't know. I overthink these things.
I come at it from a very much, I always, like, my first instincts were all in the direction of, like, nah, it's just a branch of science we don't understand yet. And while individual scientists could get hung up on having difficulty making that jump, like, that as a way of organizing knowledge has always been the one that makes the most sense to me. But that's why I'm sort of fascinated by the other perspective of, like, okay, if you could convince me that there's a version of not making sense that exists as a valid alternative to making sense, what does it look like? And that's the you know, my slow pagan agnostic, I guess, thing going on.
I got an Allamore radio play for you. Oh, you're gonna love it.
Another very Taliesin thing to say.
Ed Swan, were you in the car when I played it on the way back from Burning Man, The Moon and Serpent?
No.
I'm a big fan. He did this great radio piece, which is such
I think you've told me about this.
Yeah,
though.
it's my post Burning Man radio as I wait in that line that goes forever. The Moon and Serpent Grand Egyptian Theater Marvels. I love that. Every year.
So much.
It's beautiful. Yay, the Darkhold tangent. That was great.
That was great. All right.
I'm a big fan.
Well, you were just what's the serpent of the rose?
That's a whole not different. It's the
That's
moon
a whole
and-
other
that's a-
episode.
Oh,
The Moon and Serpent, Grand Egyptian Theater of Marvels, is a radio production, a very Alan Moore radio production that he made that you can find on the internet. That's quite good.
neat.
I will make sure you get a copy. You'll love it.
Cool.
Neat.
It's him talking a lot, like Alan Moore. That's a terrible Alan Moore. I feel embarrassed by it, but there we are.
Well, Alan
Hello.
Moore probably just stopped watching
I,
the show.
now I feel
he
bad.
turned off his Twitch.
Oh no, we lost more.
They had, oh man, in Germany they had like the really expensive Lost Girls box set, and I was staring at it going, man, I miss mine.
Can you legally transport that between countries?
It's practically like, I don't know actually. That's a good point. Oh Lord, that book. But yeah, there was for those of you who don't know, I did go to a comic book store in Berlin.
Yeah.
So
You also sent us that.
I sent you those pictures called Modern Graphics, which was part of my.
So cool.
Oh,
They had really cool T-shirts, and I meant to buy some of their T-shirts, but
How dare you not do that?
But instead, I bought comic books instead.
Well, speaking of, why don't you show us your treasure?
Oh,
Yeah, so how
this
we
is
doing this?
this is just what I purchased. I'm just going to show off what I purchased. Just kind of a couple things to show off. I found they do these little pocket books in Germany. Oh yeah, that's right. I hid some
He
things in
opened
there.
it right to like a demon. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. That was that evil monkey.
Oh,
They do these teeny tiny pocket books that were available in every supermarket. Of like, and this was like the Donald Duck ones were kind of the ones that immediately popped out at me. And it was such a good Scrooge McDuck cover. I know I'm going to keep.
Oh,
And
that is great.
I was very excited too. And I haven't used. God, I forgot how many stickers I put in here.
Summer edition.
I'm using Google Translate. There's a Google Translate app that you can just show it at the page, and while you're watching
I've
through
seen
it,
that.
it translates all the text kind of well. So I've been using that.
Magic.
I found this teeny tiny weird. I haven't even looked at that. I meant to look these things up. This weird, like
Looks like
pocket
gold
book.
key or something.
I know, and they're just like strange little.
Mark Trail, no.
Yeah, I haven't translated it yet, but it's I'm looking for a date. I don't know. I have no idea how old it is. None.
This is amazing,
Isn't that
man.
great? What else?
It was 20 Pfennig, if that helps.
This is another kind of fun, weird little. I just found all these strange.
Prince Valiant?
It's a Prince Valiant book translated into German, which I'm a big fan of Prince Valiant. I think they're beautiful, beautiful books, and there's a couple prints I've always wanted to own. And I got a couple things, and like the big thing that I got for myself in English, so I can actually read it, because I couldn't find it anywhere else. And this was actually originally in German. It's been translated. Is the Nick Cave Mercy on Me graphic novel, which is a biography of Nick Cave, who's one of my favorite singers, and it's just beautiful art.
That is really
And
nice.
it's an amazing, very like beautiful history of like the origin of this sort of goth punk rock magical musician.
Oh, wow.
And like the art is just stunning, and I'm about halfway through it so far, and it's just really beautiful, and like it captures the energy so well of just this intense singer. So I'm very happy with that.
So what is it about Nick Cave that you like? Because this is catch up. This is something that you caught up on, right?
Yeah, this is part of catch up.
So this is part of catch
Tell
up.
us about
So
Nick
talk about it.
Cave.
Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds is just one of those like very as a goth kid, it was like one of those really early like goth bands that really took hold of me. Took hold of it. Like it was very well known and is still producing amazing music, even with a terrible facial hair. Bless him. I got introduced to him in a movie. Have you ever heard of a movie called Wings of Desire?
Heard of it.
I don't think I've seen it. But
So, to quickly sum up without giving too much away, there are all these angels walking around, and they're living in this black and white world, and everything is in black and white, and they can hear people's thoughts. And this angel in Berlin falls in love with a circus worker, a circus trapeze artist, if I recall. It's been a while. And decides that he's going to remove his wings and become mortal to like be with this.
Wait. Wings of Desire. Was this by Wim Wenders?
I don't remember. It's been a while. But one of the things that happens is that all the angels are invisible, but they run into Peter Falk, the actor, on a shoot who used to be an angel. He's Peter Falk. He's not playing anybody. He's just playing himself. and he knows that the angel's there, and kind of like gives him like this speech and talks to him, and like kind of encourages him to come down. And he comes down. The world's in color, and it's in Berlin. And at one point, they go to a Nick Cave concert, and it was like really intense, being this like heavy goth Nick Cave concert. And it's really so like this.
Peter
is,
Falk goes to the concert with them? Or?
No, the angels
Okay.
go, but like Peter Falk has like a whole speech he gives every time he like senses an angel, and he's like, "I know you're there," and yeah, he does. He's just Peter Falk, and it's great. It's really fun. It's a very German film. If you're really got to be in the, they remade it. They remade it in versions iffy with Nicolas Cage.
City of Angels.
City of Angels.
So yeah, Wings of Desire is I think Wim Wenders.
Yeah, that might be. So
I now have to look this up.
Nick Cave wrote Red Right Hand, performed Red Right Hand, and he made an album called Murder Ballads, which is amazing. He's just got so much good stuff, and yeah, he's an amazing
He's got
musician.
that voice, right?
Everything is take a just very deep and heavy and beautiful.
Yeah, it's Wim Wenders. So when I was in high school, I was the biggest fan of U2 ever. I had every single album. And Wim Wenders was their photographer. And I remember I always wanted to see Wings of Desire because I knew that U2's photographer directed that movie, and I've still never seen
They
it.
wrote a song with it, far Away So Close.
But like and the Joshua Tree album, Joshua Tree, I think, Unforgettable Fire, Zooropa. He did all of the photography for those albums. Achtung Baby.
So my last three things, I'm going to be really quick.
Don't be quick. We have time.
We have time. That's right. I feel like. So the other thing is, when I was 19, do you know what this is, or do you not know what this
did
is?
you eat
Is
pies
it a
there?
bog mummy?
No, this is not a bog mummy. When I was 19, I got the flu let's see, it was 2000, so 22. I was very young. I was in a.
You had the flu once.
I was in a studio apartment in Hollywood, in like really one of those Hollywood studio apartments that shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
And I got the flu so bad that I was kind of caught there for like 6 weeks without I was in my just on a piece of foam that was my bed, and and so I decided to do what anybody who's basically can't get out of bed for many, many weeks is I'm going to read Ulysses. Oh my God. Oh Lord.
No one says that.
Then this was before the internet was really a thing.
Tell Taliesin no one says that. I love this.
No, well, and also, who am I to tell Taliesin what no one says when he's like, "You guys want to see a bog mummy?"
Well, I specifically read Ulysses because of the song "Hello Mutta, Hello Fada." So yeah, I was really into Dr. Demento at the time, and I'm like, I don't get this joke. I need to get it. Now I get the joke.
Where is the Ulysses joke in Hello Mutta, Hello Fada?
And the head coach wants no sissies, so he reads to us from something called Ulysses.
Oh
and I was like,
God.
what the fuck is that joke? And now I was like,
Ulysses?
oh. Now I'm like, that's pretty funny.
I've tried to read that 4 or 5
James
times.
Joyce is a big missing piece of my literary education.
The trick is like 3 to 5 pages at a time, then you stop.
Have y'all read Fun Home yet?
Yes.
I have it. I have it.
The riff, so the only piece of Ulysses that really stands out to me is the unbelievably great riff on the I knew that he knew that I knew that he knew that is, like, they explain the entire origin of it, and they use and invert it in the course of the narrative in Fun Home, and it has, it will never leave my brain. So I have to read it just so I can see that in its original context.
No,
So
it's and like James Joyce eventually, it's very hard to read. I don't know if I'm going to try and go back and read it again at some point. Maybe this year, maybe not. It was so rough.
To read that.
we should go to one of the Bloomsday things. I've never been.
So Mr. Bloom. So Ulysses all takes place on one day in Dublin, and it's Mr. Bloom. And one of the things that Mr. Bloom does is he goes to Sweeney's to buy some lemon soap. And I was walking by, I was like, that's Sweeney's! And I walked in, and I bought some lemon soap. They sell the original from the 1920s, the lemon soap and I was like, this is my nerdy thing, is I'm going to buy lemon soap like Mr. Bloom. So, and they had a bunch of stuff in there, and it was really cool.
Smells wonderful. Dispensing chemists.
Yeah, it was really dumb.
God, amazing.
So was that.
Volpe says, well, if you're already hallucinating, why not?
That was basically, I'd read 2 or 3 pages and go, okay, that's all I can take. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then the last thing is I got little gifts for the two of you.
What?
You didn't have to.
I mean, it's like I found this. I have no idea what it's about because I tried to run it through Google Translate and it sort of mocked me. And it was beautiful, and there's probably some questionable content in there, and I apologize for it, but it It was too pretty not to.
It says read twice at least.
Yeah,
this is
Punk Rock
beautiful.
Heartland.
Punk Rock Heartland.
Ooh.
So I've
So
made
you're saying I shouldn't just randomly read these words and hope they're not dirty.
Well, yeah, because there's definitely there's definitely some questionable content in there. So.
This is
But
amazing.
it felt very you.
And not the Jeff Jackson questionable content.
No. And then I thought of you.
Comics Fascinator in, which I think means comics fascinate him.
Actually, here.
The author bio.
Oh, nice.
Here.
Seitdem ein Heft durchblättern. Nah, I
Here.
don't think I'm doing this right.
Here, you can use that.
All of our European viewers are watching.
We're
like,
very sorry.
Stupid Americans.
Oh, was 1981 in Hamburg born. Oh my God, this is insane.
Welcome to the future.
Comics fascinated him since he could browse a booklet. And with 13 years, he began even stories to draw.
Yay, Google Translate.
This is amazing. It just puts the words over it as if it is rewriting my direct experience. What?
Oh,
That
and
would
try
have
that.
been much
All right,
smarter.
let's see if we can make this
It's
work.
almost like we're in an audio-visual meeting.
Oh, we're gonna see if we can make this work.
Audio visual.
Andy Lyrium wird 1981 in Hamburg geboren.
All right.
Everybody text
See if
Taliesin embarrassing things right now.
I'm trying to make it work.
Yes! Magic!
God, it's amazing.
Magic! And if you move it so it changes the boundaries, it rephrases things automatically.
Isn't that crazy?
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah. Oh my God.
The future.
The future.
Slightly less difficult is, and I found this, and I don't know why I thought of you. Do you know what this is?
I know what Darkman is. I mean, the movie.
What is unless you need me to do the refresher?
I haven't.
Darkman is a
forever.
ridiculous superhero movie that you should totally watch. Darkman is a Sam Raimi superhero movie from the 80s starring Liam Neeson.
I need to see it.
Oh, that's right.
Liam
it was
Neeson, whose face is destroyed in a horrific explosion, and then has the technology to give himself anybody's face but his own.
But his
For 1 hour at a time.
That this is by Joe Jusko, who did all the Marvel masterpieces.
It's such a. And so this is the official comic book adaptation of Darkman.
Oh my God, I'm gonna read this so much.
That movie is magical.
Yeah.
That movie is magical and filled with pixie dust.
Is this the full movie?
This is I think
Is
this
like
is
a
the
part one,
entire.
or-
I think
They
it might
put the
be.
whole movie in this?
Not a lot happens, to be fair. Yeah, they do because that's him
That-
falling off the skyscraper.
Yep, I know. Yep, I was like, oh, I know that scene. This is the whole movie. Wow, dude, thank you so much.
I thought of you. So
And Ralph Macchio wrote it. This is perfect.
Ralph
seems
Macchio
so
was
silly.
a prolific Marvel contributor
Yeah.
with a coincidental
it's
name as
ridiculous
far
what
as
you find in like strange bins in Germany. So it was
I know.
very.
Okay, I think that's Russian. How many languages are in this book?
Oh yeah, that might be. I don't know. I leafed through it and I was just the art was so stunning that I
Yeah.
kind of got.
Looks distinctly familiar, these guys.
Yeah, they do. I feel that.
This
So
is
that-
awesome, thank you!
So that's just what I brought back from like my ridiculous trip into Europe. But like, I thought you would get a kick out of that.
In the
and I was-
heartland of Europe.
Yeah, it was either that because I couldn't buy T-shirts for you guys because I didn't really like because I found that amazing Doctor Strange shirt and there was like
Yes.
and there I almost got they had like read or die shirts that were really intense and I was like but then I like couldn't quite with like the girl on their little card firing lasers out of her eyes. I was like but
The,
sizing was all weird.
other than the title, Punk Rock Heartland, the only thing on this title page in English are the words, please don't try this at home.
There's a
so
lot in there that
excited.
you
Very
shouldn't try at
important,
home.
Very important.
So yeah, this is I thought that it would get a kick.
Well, Ms. Dallen, what did you bring in that you want to?
Yeah.
Amazing! Okay,
Delve.
let's see. So I thought about my catch-up, and I only got partway through what I intended,
Oh, yeah.
because at least the amount of reading I think I can do during any time off and the amount that I actually manage to do is never good.
Feel that.
But one of the things I was most excited about is that I have had essentially like a New Year's or any kind of break is a great opportunity to go and look at like all the stuff you take home from conventions and don't necessarily get around to reading. Or in my case, expensive imported books that you order that you haven't actually looked at. So one of my very favorite things, born out by this journey that I just took in catching up with them, is basically a curated comics box that is done out of England called Shortbox.
Ooh.
It comes like this, but wrapped in a nice little envelope.
I'm intrigued.
This past year there were 4 of them. I got 3. They do short ordering periods, and I missed the last one. But I got my first one the year before, like last year, and then I had the 3 that I got this year just sitting waiting for me to enjoy them.
Yeah.
The very first one I got last fall was the book that I got, that comic, Your Black Friend by Ben Passmore that got nominated for the Eisner. That's where I read it. It was included a year and a half ago or something like that in one of these short boxes. And this is a project curated by, I tried to check on this pronunciation, Zainab Akhtar. She is a comics journalist and critic and now publisher out of somewhere in Britain. And she ran for a long time a site called Comics and Cola, which was one of the best places to go for criticism on sort of art comics. She also loves lots of mainstream. She loves Batman. She loves dinosaurs. She loves all the normal stuff, but she gets really into like art comics, which is a field that I've sort of slowly warmed up to. And the thing I'm noticing about him is that while my instincts are always in favor of very dense narratives, these off-the-beaten track kind of stories tend to be things I remember for years. And Zainab has maybe the best eye I have ever seen for putting these together. And one of the things she's done is organized
Oh my God.
these fun and fine international comics box curated by Comics and Cola. She puts British candy in them.
Yeah.
Which is a good reason not to let them sit around for a long time like a dummy.
I want that British candy.
So, for instance, this was short box number 3. Technically came out in February of last year. I have terrible reading habits and I've been missing out. Thank you, Chief, for that.
Yes, thank you.
I don't think there's a box open for order right now. I will need to bring this back up as soon as you can buy some of these comics independently on the website. But don't worry, I will try to be as loud as possible the next time an order cycle comes around.
This is beautiful.
So this one came with an Eleanor Davis print. I love Eleanor Davis.
Wow.
She was one of the first ones that, like, this is not a style I immediately glommed to, but I read a book of hers called How to Be Happy, which is a bunch of art pieces and short stories that are, and this was my challenge where, like, I spent all my time catching up on this and then realized I can't explain any of it. Zainab can. She's great like that. That's why she's such a good comics critic. She can explain to you why the things are working on your heartstrings the way they are. But so... This, for instance, is the slate of offerings from this short box.
I was going to. Do you need another hand, or are you? Good?
I'm going to
You're
skip
good.
to one of the other boxes for sort of an in-depth thing, look at these.
That's really pretty.
I don't know where she finds these contributors. They're just incredible, and I assume we'll be like publishing everywhere for years to come and winning all the awards.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This box had this incredibly cool short story about a writer, Write, Kill, Shivana Sukto,
May I see?
which you should definitely pass around.
Oh my God, these are beautiful.
This was the print that came with this one.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Here, I can better. Sorry.
That,
Thank you, wonderful, wonderful crew.
Oh my God, that is amazing. The camera is picking up the
This
inkwork is so delicate.
style, which, let's see, because she always includes little, like, bios on the the contributors. And the print is by Nico Delort, a Canadian and French illustrator working in Paris. His medium of choice is scratchboard, and his influences range from Arnold Böcklin to Mike Mignola. Most likely to eat too much chocolate. So...
I like that her like little note sheet reminds me of the note sheets we used to get when we would go see like the independent film calendars would come out. This like reminds me so much of like
yeah.
The two-tone thing?
yeah, and just like the little squares and the way the whole thing's put together. It's like, oh, what's playing on the 5th?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So this one has a very funny dream sequence story called The Super-itis by an artist, I think out of Texas, I want to say.
Texas, Dallas, Texas.
Oh, I didn't know artists were in Texas.
One of my favorite web comics is published out of
Just
Dallas,
kidding.
Texas.
I can say that
Wait,
because
where are
I'm
you
from
Okay.
Richie Pope.
Yeah, just gorgeous. A lot of amazing use of color in these, and what I found is that, contrary to my expectations that it would be like, I'll have some images to ponder, a ton of these tell these internally complete and incredible stories. This one, A Hollowing, is a coming-of-age tale where you sort of slowly piece together the circumstances of this girl's life.
Oh my God.
But here's the sort of emotional and literal landscapes of what she's dealing with. You have to read this one.
Oh man, this is giving me such my favorite aspects of From Hell. Actually, it's got a lot of that. It's very rough. Yeah, I'm trying to find something that's not like.
I'm like, is it spoilery?
I'm
But
trying to find
showing
something
off
that's
comics,
not horrific, like because a couple of the images in here are like a little nightmare-inducing. But it's just, look at that. It's just so, there's so much dread in it. It's beautiful.
This one, everything in this box was incredible. You guys have to help me because this is labeled the short box murder mystery print, and now I'm killing myself because it's like, am I supposed to be able to solve it? I don't think I'm supposed to be able to solve it, but the slight chance that I'm supposed to be able to solve it based on them calling it that, they just got the camera removed.
There we go. I know, and then I immediately am like, I want to see.
And this was by Afu Chen, who is an artist who's been super on my radar without me realizing I had this sitting home for like 5 months. San Francisco-based freelance artist with a focus on comic books, illustration, character design, and concept art. This box was like they've all been just incredible, but
This is beautiful. God, this is amazing.
this very, very, very funny.
Musings of a Muslim hipster.
By Ariba Sadiq, an illustrator and YouTuber from Pakistan, who is currently filling up her gap year with these incredible, like, a mix of sort of collage work and cartooning.
Oh, it's so my jam. This has got so much Yellow Submarine. I mean, like, it's really just.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The color and the, oh God, it's just amazing.
You should bring that to Burning Man.
Those pages are about her trying to figure out, because she's moved away from her mom, and she's calling it like a long distance relationship, like, and how to, you know.
And her twin.
It's so great. And then, okay, Rosemary Valero O'Connell did this, which you just got to look at. I can't even, like.
How does it just keep going?
Zainab, where are you finding these people? You genius.
Oh my God, wait, I don't even know what, I'm trying to find a page. This is so much. This is so much. Nope, wait, I'm gonna find the
colors are beautiful.
This is not even like, I'm like trying to find something in the middle.
Spaceships and memories, and I don't want to tell you too much about how the story goes.
Oh,
but
you got it, yeah, no, there we are. Like, this is not, I mean, like, this is just giving a hint of how intense the art is, and I mean, it's just there's so much happening.
So here's the description. Rosemary Valero O'Connell is a small bundle of sticks and twine that a witch turned into a person in 1994. She's been drawing comics ever since. Can't rule it out, is what I'm saying. The book she's making with Mariko Tamaki, Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me, will be out in 2019 from First Second.
What, I mean, like, what an amazing this is.
So yeah.
This is killing
Short
me.
box.
That is awesome.
I
just read that.
It's
it
really
great?
good. It's like
It's 2 minutes to read. It's great.
It's interesting and brutal and desperate and funny, and that one is.
Cool. You guys keep talking. I'm going to read this one now.
Oh, that's the one by Shavana. I should have looked at everybody's name up. It
Right,
looks like
Kill.
Sukhdeo, but
Shavana Sukhdeo. Kill.
Right, Kill. A self-taught comic artist from New England with a background in psychology. She enjoys the weird, the quiet, and the overlay tool in Photoshop. Previously published in Elements Fire, Dirty Diamonds, and Sweaty Palms. I need to get the Elements anthology is another one that's been on my radar that I need to try to track down. Most likely to be a hologram.
This is intense.
So yeah.
this is gonna be a very strange reference. But if you ever get the chance to go to Meow Wolf in Santa Fe, it's that really super weird
I've been hearing about that.
art project. Just, I don't know how to describe what it is, except that everyone should go.
Here, it's a little bit of Burning Man in a box.
It's like taking everything great about Burning Man and putting it under one roof.
And cleaning it.
And keeping it clean. But then on top of all of that, like, you have this incredible art, and it's all just weird and out there. It's all connected by a grand narrative told out of order that you have to discover yourself. So if you just go and walk around Meow Wolf, you can be like, this is amazing and I want to come back. But if you dig, if you jump in, if you read you can pull books off the shelf and there's stuff in there and they're just books.
Is there a time limit on this place?
There are hours where they are open.
We could also just hire our friend Ching to just build a tiny version of it that we could roll around.
We could. But this book, so there are TVs periodically throughout there that you can sit and watch some of the story, and they're all
really
animated in this style. So like, imagine this style animated, brought to life with these colors. That's what I'm referencing, and it's amazing. So.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah, these are
Wow,
beautiful.
this is
So short box.
Short box.
short box. Wow. Yeah. No, I think I'm sold.
And there's a small publisher called Piao, who I think they're based out of Sweden, and I think she has started to work with them. So she carries some of the things that she has enough extra printed or whatever I don't know what the basis for which ones are available is, but you can get some of these books on the website, like independent of the boxes. But it enables basically, by taking specific pre-orders for each chunk of these, she can put out all of this incredible, unique work, which then hopefully makes its way to wider availability as all these people become rich and famous, or whatever we do with our comic book superstars. I like to think they become rich and famous.
Yeah.
Which probably is not how it works.
Probably more like medical insurance and a sandwich. But you know, we do what we can.
Hey, medical insurance is pretty good.
No, that was like 2015's goal right there. 2016. That was a big deal.
And plus, there's just the fun of these boxes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I love the tape. The tape is
Yeah.
really exciting.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna have to get in on this. This is really.
Next round of short boxes?
Oh yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm
I
so
think
in.
the next one up will be number 7. 6 is the one that I missed, and I'll
that
beat
may
myself
not be
up
a
about it
bad
forever.
episode to do. Is all of us get a short box.
When the
and-
short box comes in, let's just
Unbox
open it
the
up.
short box.
What we could do with the unboxing.
We could all read them ahead of time, I guess.
But
That's
we
it.
should probably also all read them.
Yeah.
So maybe we do an unboxing the
Wait.
week before.
Oh, where is it? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I gotta workshop it. Oh God, there's
A
almost
short unboxing? Is that what you're looking
a
for?
long short unboxing. A long
Along on short
A long
boxing?
box unshort boxing?
a short box long a long short box unboxing.
Keep workshopping it.
No, it's not there yet. I'll
No,
workshop
it's
it.
still not there?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
not there yet.
I just heard longshoreman boxing.
Longshoreman boxing.
is
I can get into that.
that I'm down for.
Greenlit.
Green. Fox's greenlit that live show.
I keep forgetting how easy it is to greenlit things.
contender.
Instead of a comic artist, which is
Instead of-
what I am.
Instead of just talking about comic books, I could have been a contender.
No one knows what we're doing.
No one knows the classics.
I had a friend who did it as Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
I'm checking back on.
I could have been somebody. I could have been a contender instead of a moose, which is what I am.
Oh, gee, bull.
If it was you, Rocky.
Bullwinkle, that's not true.
Sam is in chat right now, and they say spaceships and memories. Well, I feel pretty targeted by that pitch. And now
Yeah.
that you mention it, yes, you are.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I will show you this book.
This was deep.
Who said that?
Sam, our Sam.
Never heard of her.
Them.
Never heard of them. I corrected myself the second I was like, that is the incorrect pronoun. I'm going to correct it because I actually do know who I'm talking about.
It just
I'm
made
making
your
a
joke work so much better and or worse.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, all right.
Slowly
The
put it
other thing
together.
I actually did, and this is, I'm kicking myself because I hate this feeling. This feeling is,
Joy?
I'm gonna get around to reading this thing that I've recently learned is ending. Wait, it's great, and this is my fault because I did not read it and tell enough people to read it,
And
and
it's
now
really
I'm
good?
super mad about it. This book was
I started
great.
reading it.
It is a team-up comic.
Oh,
Every
what?
part of this, she just goes to a different person in the Marvel Universe or group of people to try to sort of pick their brain about, this is baby Jean Grey, pulled out of time, and suddenly
rest of the X-Men,
with a
right?
premonition, which she gets in the middle of, like, she's just trying to eat a nice meal in Japan. She takes one of the BAMFs, she goes to lunch, and of course, of all places, the wrecking crew is wrecking that portion of Japan.
Like they
Like
do.
the wrecking crew is want to do.
And in the meantime, she gets a little premonition or worry or voice in her head, and she wonders if it is the ultimate thing that you worry is coming for you if your name is Jean.
If your name is Jean Grey.
So over the course of this book, not only like is it just this beautiful example of like they managed to get an action scene into every episode, but at the same time there's all this fantastic character stuff.
I picked it up specifically for Choir.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like I was trying to do the Where in Comics as Quentin Quire, and so
Wait,
that's how
he's
So
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah?
And
she
it's-
goes to
yeah, he's
consult
well
basically
written.
anybody who has been a previous vessel for the Phoenix. To be like, what did you do? How did you live? What effect does it
What's the
have on
deal?
you? And everybody basically either
So-
says we don't believe it's coming or you're screwed.
Did she consult with like magic and
Colossus and yeah, all of them.
So good.
Rachel, the
And
whole kit and caboodle.
it's beautifully written. There's this wonderful, like, she's very sort of not weirded out, but like plays beautifully off of young Hope Summers, basically Cable's stepdaughter who was raised in the dangerous future. But imagine if Cable had a little girl and raised her while fighting for their life through a series of terrible futures, she'd come out kind of like this.
Yeah.
Lots
and
of pockets.
it's very adorable. There's just this like wonderful full page action thing while
I
they're
love that
discussing all
page.
of their superhero business. It's one of those great like, oh, you can do all the things at once. There's an entire issue where she goes to check with Namor.
Yep, because he's the last
Yep.
of the Phoenix Five.
Yep.
And
Five.
so essentially, I'm not much past. I read volume 1. There's a once she's
yeah.
like, well. So each of them gives her an idea which she pursues with a different source.
Yeah.
So this takes her ultimately to Thor, to Doctor Strange, in like.
Well, now I have to get
Yeah,
it.
you very much and so unfortunately this run is ending
Yeah.
for reasons of Phoenix having other things going on, which I'm trying to get caught up on. It's a weekly series right now, Phoenix Resurrection. I've only read the first
Oh,
one.
right,
the second
right.
one came out today, and I have it, but I didn't get to read it before the show.
Apparently, also today out was the Rogue and Gambit.
Yeah.
I haven't read that yet either, but Danny
Dan-
Carr
Danny
Take
Danny
it
Carr
home,
was
but I
not
haven't
could not
read it.
stop.
was going nuts about it.
So
Good.
in connection, actually, since you mentioned that book, I just want to say in connection to that book, the thing that threw me to it was I read the Jean Grey issue of X-Men Origins.
Oh my gosh!
Which
was it
I
good?
might have my brightness turned up too high. Let me turn down my
Yeah, it
brightness.
looks pretty.
It does look very pretty.
There we go. And if you see the internal art for this, which is really amazing, is just stunning. Like you can just see, it's an absolutely stunning book, and it's a great introduction to the character. And it crossed so well into the Jean Grey book that I was just.
So
was one
the
of my-
credits on the Jean Grey book, by the way, are that
Yeah,
it
please
is
tell
written
me.
by Dennis Hopeless, and there's a team of artists. I mostly loved them. There was one where I was like, oh, I don't feel your style is bringing through the emotions that I want here. But for the most part, they knocked it out of the
Yeah.
park on this. Victor Ibanez, Al Barrionuevo, Harvey Tolibao, Anthony Piper. This is probably including inkers and colors. Paul Davidson, J. David Ramos, Chris Sotomayor, and Donos Sanchez Almada.
It's a great read.
Primary artists, like, yeah, that's several colorists. The pencilers are Ibanez, Tolibao, Piper, and Davidson on this first arc. So yeah, I'm trying to get caught up and getting real fond of Baby Jean.
Yeah.
I
I really liked her and Choir. I thought they were very fun together.
And I just love like that whole notion. I think it was Bendis who did the all new X-Men, right? Where like
Yep.
they went back in time and pulled him back in. Then the Watcher appeared.
It
at,
seemed like the worst idea ever, and then it just kept being so great that I was like,
should
all
have-
right,
it should have
I
been
guess
terrible.
We're doing
Yeah,
this.
like when I first heard about it, I was like, all right, yeah, let's give it a shot. And then like within 2 issues, I was like, this is great. This is one of the best moves X-Men has made in a long time.
And then you get the creepy evil future X-Men that came out of it that were great.
And
And
Battle
Molly
for the
Hayes was
Atom.
part of it.
yeah.
President
Loved it.
Dazzler.
President
yeah,
Dazzler.
Oh, that's right. But I love like there was that one scene where the Watcher appeared at McCoy's bedside. Do you remember that? Like that pager
Oh,
too
yeah.
at the back. I can't remember which issue it is, but he appears and he's like, "You disgust me, Hank McCoy," and it's just like, "Whoa, the Watcher said that? Oh,
So
what have you
What
done?"
Matt's referring to is that the person who pulled the baby X-Men out of the past is Hank McCoy, kind of not in one of his finer moments.
Yeah.
They have a narrative reason that he's sort of panicking when he does that, and then later can't undo it. But yeah, way to mess up the timeline, Hank.
Yeah, Hank McCoy,
now they're all stuck here.
yeah, the
That was-
Ant-Man of the X-Men.
Oh no!
Oh, every now and then. Not that I mean, like he's the one who usually when everything's gone wrong, they're like, "God damn it, Hank."
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
there's a lot of "God damn it, Hank."
Yes.
Yeah, there's a
You're
lot
really
of
smart, and yet, God damn it, Hank.
that. You got to ask if you should, not if you could.
Stop.
I'm just saying,
stop.
poor Hank Pym, there are certain sectioned off areas of story that, like, I
No.
hope nobody ever joins him in.
No, Hank Pym and Hank McCoy, the Hanks, man. Got to be careful of them
Got to be
Hanks.
careful with Hanks. What do you think about that, Chief? By the way, we are going to be doing our 5-minute one-shot topic tonight.
Woo!
So go ahead and start making those suggestions to us. We'll talk about anything for 5 minutes.
We do have some great questions in chat, like Razna
Yeah?
Khan asking, is it true that you're the avatar of Nyarlathotep? in this plane of existence, Taliesin?
I think I'm under NDA for that, actually.
Oh!
Yeah.
And they take that NDA real seriously.
Yeah.
I thought you were
Older guys.
joking, but are you talking about a real thing? Because I just assumed he was hitting you with some
Nope,
full
I'm
blood
completely
questions.
joking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except you're not. Those
Let's see.
NDAs and right left, not. You do not want to break those.
No, they've only got like a quarter of my blood left for like extra signatures at this point.
Permanent Soul said that your Nick Cave book reminds them of the Johnny Cash I See a Darkness book.
Yes.
I don't know that book.
Yeah, that was also, it's another book that I saw. That, like, apparently there's like a whole series of this kind of thing. I actually saw that in Berlin as well, and I went Nick Cave just because I knew less about the origins of the band, so I thought it would be a more a more interesting read for me.
You wanted the bad seed, not the man in black.
Not the Man in Black, although the Man in Black also had a big effect on me on growing up. But also an interesting thing I read this week: Double Date, Batman Double Date.
Oh, I've read the beginning
I
of it.
haven't read that one yet.
So just tell the folks at home.
Double Date, like somehow the amazing thing about Batman and Superman is somehow, even after decades of storytelling, we still find dumb stuff that we cannot believe that we have not done yet that are good. It's just going to make an amazing book. And the most recent issue of Batman is Batman and Superman going on a double date with Selena Kyle and Lois Lane. It's Clark,
Because
Bruce.
Batman is now dating Catwoman.
Batman and Catwoman, I think, are actually getting married.
Oh, they're getting married.
They're getting- they're-
Man,
yes.
I'm way behind.
She is. They've stolen a diamond to put a ring. Yeah, no, it's a whole. And the
I got
dynamic.
it,
What I haven't read yet is the issue that has Catwoman and Talia on the cover, which I will
Well.
need to be checking in on how that's going.
But the Lois Selena relationship is one of my favorite things. That like there's so much going on. I
why
don't
is
want to
one-
spoil anything, but this
so
is
there
delightful.
were some panels and pages from the lead up to this that were actually going around online, which
Yeah.
was a beautiful thing to see because it's very rare to see people actually just sharing, like, to watch a comic sort of go viral in that
Yeah.
way. But it was because Tom King was doing such a great job. There was this side by side of Batman and Superman discussing each other, and their respective ladies sort of prodding at them to be like, it starts with a like, have you called him? And it's like, no, I don't think I should call him. I think he should call me if he wants to. I mean, he doesn't need to. And they're like, you're his best friend. Because they haven't talked since the engagement happened. And it's the cutest. I haven't read the actual this.
Oh
though.
yeah,
I read
like
the lead-in one.
this first page is just everything you need, and we'll show it to the.
I'm sorry, but it's what it is, all right? It's rules. Superhero night. Got to be a superhero to come in, and y'all ain't superheroes.
For their date night, they have shown up on
is
superhero
funny.
night.
At a
to the-
carnival, and not in being told that they can't come in because they're not superheroes.
So it's a superhero theme night,
yeah,
and they, that
at the Gotham County Fair.
and like
Get you some
Bruce
costumes.
Wayne's just,
Yeah, and the characterization, I've got to say, top to bottom is so solid. Like,
and I love that he's the guy at the gate is dressed like a Wonder Twin.
he's dressed like a Wonder Twin, and what are the names of the Wonder Twins?
do not remember.
Jason, no.
I
know
can't
one took
remember.
the form of water a lot.
But the other, but in the background, there's, I got to say, just in this panel, in the background is the other Wonder Twin making out with a guy dressed as Plastic Man,
Yep.
with
my God,
a
what are
Black
their
Canary, a Wonder Woman,
It's like
a Green
Zip and Zap.
Lantern, Zam, and like
I know
Zara,
it's like
Zara
they're
and
both like
Zam.
Z names. I can't.
And there's a Batmite for no apparent reason. There's just a Batmite because, like, why not? Why not?
Who's the artist on this run?
I don't know. It's beautiful art, and
there's
and like, I don't want to give anything away, but
Phantom and a
it gets
Wonder
very
Woman.
complicated trying to keep up because it's two
Canary.
dark-haired women and two dark-haired men constantly talking, so it becomes very confusing who's who. Well, I mean, like, but it doesn't. Like, it should.
Oh, it could potentially, but
But yeah, you actually managed to you have to read it all through.
Green Lantern?
That is
Zan
no,
and
that was
Jana.
yes.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Zam
Jeff
and- I
M.
knew one of them was a Z. Yeah.
oh, you all had our backs. Thank you.
It's Hal. It's Hal. So yeah, that would be Silver.
But
yes.
like the mask and the logo, the way the costume fits, it looks
Silver
like
Age.
more Silver Age.
It's Silver Age,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do it. I mean,
Fun
like,
times.
it's a great book.
So you brought that up. You had you guys, I think both suggested this, but the Super Sons, like Bruce Wayne, like
I
Bruce
hear the
Wayne,
best things. How is it?
It is fantastic. I only read the first 2 issues of the Super Sons title, but I read the Superman in the Name of the Father, where like they first team up, where it's Damian and it's John, right?
Superman 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. One of my favorite like Superman, Batman reads like in a long time, which isn't saying much because I don't read as much DC as I want to be able to read, but especially like the more current stuff. But man, I loved it. It was like the kids, like they got the kids down really well. I think I actually took a
They feel like kids.
screenshot. They feel like kids, and there was like they both embody like the spirit of their dads really, really well. You know?
They had a Christmas annual story last year that I should have
Oh,
brought
did
up
they?
over the holiday thing because it was really, really cute.
Yeah,
but
so
I
this
haven't
was
read
one
much
of
of their
my
actual book yet.
This was one of my favorite. This is from like the very first story where they both ran away. But what I loved about it was that down here, like you sum up the characters really well with with Superman, Superboy smiling and Robin frowning. Like that to me was like such a simple panel of just like, you know, yeah, these are our characters. Like that to me was like, all right, cool. This is how we're defining them in a way. Like this grim, like,
Oh, this, yeah.
yeah, it was so good. I loved it. I really, really loved it. And like, it's a simple story of like learning how to work together and teamwork, and they don't get along, and then they have to learn how to get along in order to save their dads. But did they really save their dads, or were they set up? And like, but it's also like a story of like fatherly love.
Oh, very
and
much.
like,
Wait,
Bruce,
okay. This is the cutest. B Damien. Damien, do you think you want to grow up to be like your dad someday?
Old?
Good.
You talk too much.
It's honestly, it's just that. But I suppose they want us to become brothers in arms or something.
Worse, friends.
Do you think?
Never.
Yeah, right. Never. Frown. Smile.
yeah, I love it. And like the way that they're circled around each other is very much like it's
that
reminiscent of a yin yang sort of thing. Like they are the opposite side of each other, but they're trying to learn to get along and like
Well, it's
sort of have to get along sort of thing.
It's
like,
the big push of the book is Batman and Superman doing the like someday it's going to be the two of you and you
Yeah.
two need to be close because
Yeah.
if you're not, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, well, that's like what I can remember like getting in a giant, like just a big fight with my brother over a toy. Like it was something stupid. And I remember just getting so mad at him and like complaining about it to my dad and like yelling at my brother. I'm the older brother of the two of us. And my dad said, like, essentially, like, this is where I really learned like this just like not fun truth of living, but like it was someday your mom and I will not be here. And someday your brother, you know, will be the only family from this unit that's left. And it's important to hold on to that. And that, like, I was like 7, and I still remember I was in my garage facing out towards my dad's truck. You know, like, I know exactly where I was at when I had that conversation with my dad. And, like, that impacted me hard. So, like, reading this stuff, I'm like, yeah, Batman and Superman aren't always going to be there. This is the legacy of these two characters, like, embodied in these two kids. And, like, this is the future hope of the world in these two kids. And this is them learning how to get together and not wanting to get together, but knowing that they have to because that's their legacy. Like, there's so much
And they're
to
really
unpack
messy.
there.
They're messy kids. Like
Yeah,
they've
they're
got
both-
problems.
They both have tremendous problems. Like it's like Superboy's having like growth pains, like as he's discovering all the powers that he doesn't know how to control yet. And then Damian is like, he was raised by a mother who like taught him how to kill someone when he's a toddler. Like
So yeah, who's Damian Wayne?
Damian Wayne is the actual blood son of Bruce Wayne and son of Talia al Ghul, the League of Shadows.
And was raised as an assassin from
and
birth.
was raised as an assassin from birth, and like he's got like all these. He's very much like Ra's al Ghul in a lot of ways, where he's like entitled and he's wealthy. He like treats like he's the biggest jerk to Alfred. And Alfred can't stand him, but like he's a kid. I get it, but like he really rankles my undies. I don't know if that's a phrase.
I think I can't
I think
believe
they're
I'm-
knickers if you're
I
Alfred.
think they're
yeah, probably so. Really rankles my knickers.
I really am so pleased at that turn of phrase. I'm imagining Alfred saying that.
Yeah.
It's making me very, very happy.
I could not like. This was one of the last things that I read before. Like I read all of this today. I was like, all right, cool. This is one of the last things I had left on my list. I have to read this, and I was like, why did I wait until the end? I want to read all of this.
Damian's cruel, man. He's a
Damian
cruel,
is
mean.
tremendously cruel.
So he comes out of the Grant Morrison run on Batman for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
He was sort of
like Batman
introduced and has
Incorporated,
slowly
yeah.
been like brought into the Bat family to try to like help him be a better adjusted kid, but doesn't want to stay out of the action because of his training and all this other stuff. And the relatively more recent acquisition of Superman's son in a whole, they're Superman of a different world kind of deal. But he's here now. He's the Superman of the regular DC universe, and he has this wonderful son. So for the past year and a half, that's been part of the ongoing storyline for Superman. And the kids got their own book called Super Sons.
Yeah.
I got to say the addition of a son for Superman has been like the best thing to happen to the character.
And a lot of
yeah.
people thought, a lot of very skeptical people were just like, really? He's got a kid now? I don't, like, because there are obvious reasons to worry long term about how that's going to play out and how it'll change the tone of the book. But it's been really fun to watch this book just have people be like, nope, I love it. I love it. Give me more.
Superman has been wanting to be a father. Like there's no better job for Superman than to be a dad.
To be a dad and to
like
raise,
it is
like the next generation.
And it
Two sets of great, great
justifies
parents,
it
you'll love to
justifies
love to.
so much characterization that you don't have to fight anymore.
Yeah.
Because it just allows him. It allows him an excuse and source to just be even more Superman than he normally is.
Yeah, and that was one of the
It's
things that I loved
great.
about the book was that it gives Superman an excuse to be Superman
Superman.
and to be that guy who is like, nope, you always do the right thing. There's always hope. Like you never leave someone behind. Like you always give it your best. It's like all those like homespun like aphorisms that he actually embodies, and you want everyone to embody. And he does. And now he's got a son to channel that all into.
And it's externalized a threat, so it's no longer about finding a way to hurt Superman. Now there's
Yeah.
like on the base level, there's like now he's got a son who's vulnerable and can be kidnapped. But like even more than that, he's got a son who's grappling with the notion that that there are people trying to kill my dad, and
Yeah.
I'm really not okay with that. And Superman having to now deal with his son having panic attacks that people are trying to murder his father all the
Yeah.
time. Like, holy
like
shit!
one of my favorite scenes in the book was Superman and Lois and John are all playing cards, and Lois keeps winning, and then Superman gets a call and he's like, "Yep, oh, all right, I'll be right there." And then as he puts the phone down in the very next panel, he's already changed into his Superman outfit because Superman, and he goes, "I'm really sorry, league business," you know, and like he gives Lois a hug and a kiss, and he hugs his son. He goes, you know, be good to your mother, you know, something like that. And he's like, "I'll be right back. I love you." And he takes off, and you're just like, Superman.
Aww.
Like it's just like so sweet to see him with his family and like taking care of family. And then he takes off, and I got to go save the world.
I'm curious, just because I haven't actually read the book yet. I assume Lois is still working as a journalist.
It wasn't
So,
addressed in the two
What
or three that
happened
I
is
read.
they've been on the down low, and now that
Because
everything's
they're a secret couple who should, yes.
so but now that everything's like working out, she's kind of doing the like, what do I want to? She's sort of going like, I got to do something, but she's figuring that out and like exactly
Yeah.
what that's going to be. But yeah, she's definitely the like, oh God, I've been bored.
Because it
Thank
helped
God.
to remind me they are both from the different world,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
means there was already a Clark and Lois here, which made everything confusing.
Yeah.
Or at
Yes.
least made there be reasons to kind of stay out of sight.
So now there are two Lois lanes because
No, I think they merged. There was like a merge. I think they
yeah.
merged.
Okay.
probably so. That
They
would make more
merged.
sense.
Where I was going with that is that the kid was going to eventually have to deal with a bunch of people trying to kill his parents because his mother is an investigative reporter who cannot stay out of trouble.
Which
Yeah.
they haven't
so
quite.
that was going to come up eventually.
The couple, the Batman Superman couple episode starts to deal with a little bit of that. There's Lois has an amazing conversation about her dad. That's one of my favorite things I've read in
man.
a while. That's just nuts.
So, Amy,
Yes.
I have a question for you
Okay.
specifically because I need help on understanding what's going on.
I hope I can help.
In September, I believe, Marvel released Legacy.
That one shot. It's in my stack of things I was going to read over break and haven't yet.
It was great,
Okay.
but I didn't think
Oh,
it was
man,
a one
this-
shot. I thought it was an ongoing event.
Prologue.
Was it not? Was I incorrect? I
So
thought it was
legacy
an ongoing
is
thing,
also the
'cause I
term
loved
that they are using
Wow,
for
here, I'll take one end, you take the other. There we are.
Marvel.
Gatefold.
So essentially, what you get here, and I guess you can see like the ads in the gatefold pages, I think
There
are
you
your
go.
clue. If I am
Yeah.
understanding this correctly, legacy is basically this period of time where each book got sort of a jumping on point.
Yeah.
A little banner that was more of a legacy.
Yeah.
A lot of them got their old numberings back.
I noticed that was confusing too. I was like, wait, so what are we doing?
It's a super mixed bag. I'm desperately happy the numbers are back, but it's confusing everyone to death, as it naturally would, because
Yeah.
the numbers make no sense.
Yeah.
But for instance, you've got Invincible Iron Man went back to 593 with the Search for Tony Stark, Part 1.
Which was great.
And that was part of Marvel Legacy in the sense that they were just like, the legacy being referred to is some of the character stuff that happens in here that's sort of a general what's going on, and it refers to things like putting the numbering back. Here's the checklist.
Oh,
Yeah.
The
man.
checklist doesn't mean you read all of the parts of these to follow one story. It means these are all of the issues that are getting these jumping on points or being touched by this sense of like the numbering going. It is not your normal, I need to read Daredevil and then find out what happens in Defenders and then find out what happens in
Yeah.
Deadpool.
Yeah, it's not a. It's those are like it's just kind of a line-wide event where it's like, here's how to jump on to, because like they also had a lot of the legacy things where it would be like, so here was the original Captain Marvel, the Kree Warrior, but here is the new Captain Marvel.
Are you thinking of Generations? The one-shots?
Well, they have those,
'Kay.
but they've also had the legacy little like 3 or 4 page primers.
Oh, yes.
That's
Okay.
what I'm talking
Many of
about.
the
Sorry.
legacy books had a 3-page explainer in the back to sort
Yeah.
of, so that you could, if you wanted to jump in on one of these, they would give you a little primer on who the characters were.
Yeah, so like the Iron Man one, like where like Tony Stark has now gone missing, his body is now missing, but Iron Heart has taken over as Iron Man. They
Oh, thank you, Chief. The primer pages are on Comixology for free. Awesome.
yeah, so like that's where I was getting confused. I was like, is Legacy like an ongoing event comic that they just haven't updated since September? Because
No,
it felt
not to
like
my
there was
knowledge.
more to the story than.
Well, there's more to the story in the form of like the rest of the Marvel universe.
Okay.
But you know, you follow the Iron Man part of it in Iron Man. You follow
Gotcha. Okay.
other characters in different places.
Because
I
they
could
set up
be
this
wrong on
great
this.
story where it's like 10,000 BC, like they had the like.
I think they are planning
You
to
know.
revisit those characters in other contexts. There's a
'Kay.
giant Avengers event coming up.
Great.
I think that they have hinted that the Avengers of 10,000 BC will be seen again in that context.
Great. Okay, that's why I'm asking you, because I know that you're working in the store and you hear all these things a lot. You have more access
Sometimes
to
if
this
I
stuff.
don't have the question very specifically, I just answer the most literal one and not
Look
the
at
one
that.
you actually needed answered.
Those are what the buttons look like.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, but I mean, I loved Legacy because I read it in September and got excited. I was like, oh, this is a Marvel event that I'm excited about, because I have to be honest, like I'm a Marvel guy through and through, but like wasn't a giant fan of Civil War 2. And that's kind of
Didn't
where I was
love
like,
it?
maybe I'm not going to read Marvel for a year or two.
Just
while
read
they-
the
while they
weird
finish
stuff.
this up. you
Yeah,
know?
just pick up the
So-
weird. I finally delved into Wasp like knee deep.
Unstoppable Wasp?
Unstoppable Wasp and Squirrel Girl. I just started like I'd already read some of them, but I'm gonna really do a push and just go through as much of it as possible.
Yeah.
Both are really fun books. Oh my god.
I know Chief loves Wasp. He's been reading that one.
Yay,
yep.
Chief.
It's really fun.
Is
it's
Dupe? No, Dupe is a mutant. Dupe.
that's is it
I know, I was
It's-
kidding.
oh.
He said dope.
You confused me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so they will revisit characters and concepts from this in the wider stories. So we can try to track down more specifics as that happens.
Yeah,
but-
Wasp is great. It's like an evil scientist version of Pippi Longstocking. I just can't get enough of it. It's great.
And that is Nadia Van Dyne.
Nadia Van Dyne, who's the daughter of Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man, and his first wife, who was kidnapped and put into the Red Room system, which is kind of Russia's version of the super soldier.
Then she got like lost in.
Well, what
time or
happened? No.
something, or-
What happened is she was like as a baby put into the system, but instead of becoming a super assassin, which is normally what they do with girls put into the Red Room system, like Black Widow, they were like, "You're smart. We're just going to have you build crazy science tech so that we can kill people better." And she basically was like locked in an underground bunker for her entire life, building super weapons for the Russians. And then she finally was like, "F this," and
I'm out.
escaped. Built and perfected Hank's Ant-Man formula, got out and is basically a park squirrel because she's been like locked up for so long.
Yeah.
She knows nothing and is just like, oh my God, everything's outdoors. Wow. And yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like is basically a super smart park score.
Yeah. No, I caught up
great.
That's
on.
amazing.
I caught up on the Champions and Avengers crossover that Mark Waid was doing.
How is it?
It's great. It's great. They're fight. I think there's 2 stories left that I need to catch up on, like the last 2 stories for it. But it's a crossover between the Avengers and the Champions, and it keeps going back and forth, which is drives me nuts. But because it's a little harder to follow digitally and keep up. Anyway, I loved it. Sorry, I lost complete train of my thought. But Nadia Van Dyne Wasp, is part of the Champions. And she and I can't remember if it's Miles.
There she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a little bit of Captain America too, because she's
Little bit.
she's a little out of step with everybody because she has no pop culture reference whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is really adorable
Yeah.
and great, and yeah, it's a great character.
Yeah. No, I really liked her, and I like the relationship she has with a lot of the rest of the team. Where
Yeah.
like most of the rest of the team gets along with her, but I think it's Miles Morales that she doesn't get
Yeah,
along.
well, and
She's,
she
like, just does not get along
and
with
no,
her
and
for whatever reason.
she's a very and like they've done a good job of really leaning into Hank Pym's mental issues, like what the daughter of somebody with that kind of with
Yeah.
those kind of mental problems would.
And her comic.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
she's very much what's the word for bipolar. She's definitely bipolar,
Is
and they
she?
kind
Oh,
of
interesting.
where she's just like yeah. Yeah, I know they.
I'm curious if you're using the word sort of medically or in a general descriptive
Medically,
sense.
like
Okay.
it's very much the. I mean, like they don't come out. They've said it about Hank several times that he's basically got bipolar disorder, which is one of the ways they sort of describe his problems. Of very.
This is a classic Avengers character who's gone through some real down moments that have then been worked into trying to give him an interesting, sensitive character arc over time. Your mileage will vary.
Your mileage will vary, but
Hank Pym.
the great thing is it's given Janet, Janet Van Dyne, a real place to come with from this girl of like basically going, I can see all of the things that ruined your dad happening. We're going to stop them now.
Yeah,
and so
weirdly,
this,
I adore Hank Pym. I just have to stay far away from certain parts of his biography, and he has to Hank on his own, far away from Janet. Love him. He's a mess.
Yep.
Do your thing and try to get your shit together. Hank anywhere near Janet, no.
No.
It's a whole thing.
This weirdly is like the best Hank Janet book you could want because Hank's not in it.
Okay.
which
Interesting.
And she does such a good job of bringing that energy without any of the weird, where it's very much feels like you get that vibe from like Janet Van Dyne's second chance to like make this relationship work, which is really, I mean, it's endearing and sweet, but it's a very much a lot of. It's a lot of her going
also
like,
sad.
It's sad, but it's very much her going like, do not be like, and she doesn't really know anything about her dad. Like she thinks he's a superhero. She doesn't know that he's a like.
He is a superhero.
Yes, and like no
He's
one,
done a lot of
no one
good.
has the heart to tell him that he's a bit of a tire fire and currently a space robot.
And that you also cannot explain to a comic book character that you are kind of ignoring parts of their history because you don't hold the character responsible for bad decisions that writers and artists made.
Yeah.
But
Also true.
It doesn't work in canon.
they've
Strangely.
made a very interesting way of dealing with it, and they've definitely they've created a plot where it is all about like don't ruin her illusions about this guy, but at the same time. Don't let her fall into the same traps of being like, I'm ignoring my entire life because of this one interesting thing that I'm doing, and who needs laundry or talking to people or eating or sleep or like, yeah.
Oh, I have to read this
She's like,
book.
no.
That was one of the ones on my list.
Don't be Hank Pym.
That was one of the ones on my list that I didn't get a chance to read.
Yeah, she's like supposed to do her immigration paperwork, and she keeps just not doing it because other more
Other stuff
interesting
keeps coming up.
It's not even stuff she has to do. It's stuff like I want to do that instead. This is boring.
Yeah.
And Janet.
Well, that was one.
Yeah.
That was like I wasn't like I read the first couple issues where she first appeared, and then kind of like it's been my Marvel reading has been a little more spotty throughout the year. So I was excited when I saw her in Champions, and her character in Champions is great because she's very science-minded, but she's still also she's not so science-minded that she's Hank McCoy and sort of forgetting to like care for everyone around, and like it's not a I've got to go solve this science problem. It's I've got to solve this science problem, but there's people over there. So which one do I do first? Because they're both very important, and that dialogue is coming out of her at the same time, and it's great. It was super fun. Like she's a great character.
I'll also say her she has lunch with Mockingbird with Bobby, and it is the best thing. It's literally it's her doing the you're Bobby Morse? Like I read your biology paper. You did a whole thing of like you have groundbreaking biology, and like it literally just Bobby going like, this is the first time anyone's ever said, wow, I've read your paper before. I'm gonna cry. Normally I'm known for beating people with sticks. This is really nice that someone's actually acknowledging that I
is really
have some PhDs and shit. That's really good.
Aw.
Yeah, it's just so good. It's so good.
Okay, but Squirrel Girl.
But
but as Squirrel Girl, go.
okay, Squirrel Girl. Oh man, I don't even know where to begin with. Oh yeah, look at that.
Thanks,
Oh,
Chief.
thanks. Yeah, that made me cry. That made me cry on an airplane. On an airplane over the Pacific Ocean,
Did
Atlantic
you see
Ocean.
this is who I thought this is who I want to be when I grow up? Like,
Yeah.
a Mockingbird? Like,
Yeah, from reading her paper from her PhD.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Squirrel Girl, I don't even know where to begin with. It is unlike anything I've ever read before.
It's impossible to describe to people.
No,
And it
it's
feels like a
so
book that was
good.
so made for my brain that I can't believe anyone else likes it. But it
Yeah.
keeps working.
Well, and it's like it's a character I've always been a fan of, and I'm always nervous when a character I've always been a fan on, they take a completely different take, and like it's a completely different take on the character. It's amazing. I can't even like it's flip, but not, and like it takes itself not too seriously, but kind of way too seriously at the same time. And
That's the thing I have really struggled with, like, because it's a book full of jokes that's also very emotionally engaging, and I don't know how, because they use like any book where you're like, that was the most hilarious Doctor Doom moment,
Yeah.
but you still actually somehow care about the stakes of everything that happens. I don't know
Yeah.
how they do that.
Yeah.
It should not work.
No, this book shouldn't work. Like that's almost the perfect description. Is there is no explanation for how anything like this actually functions.
And now we've circled right back to magic.
But-
because apparently there's no way that a rational brain can explain how you can have a comedy Doctor Doom, but still a book that, like, matters to you this much. I don't know.
Also, like, he's
Defeated by
committed-
computer science.
And he's a comedic Doctor Doom who is still in the character of Doctor Doom. Like,
Yes.
he's still very much Doctor
Where you're
Doom.
like, no, that is literally a perfect thing for him to say. It's just
Like-
also hilarious.
But like they somehow took like the dark, deep, dramatic, I am Doom, fear me, and they just turned the camera over here, so he's like, I am Doom, fear me, and it's just like,
Or the Craven
That
the
is
somehow
funny.
punctures him and doesn't puncture him. I don't.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
it
understand how they
shouldn't
did it
work.
either.
or that first Craven the Hunter story that just like how do you make how do you make a little like interesting morality tale about Craven the Hunter?
And what's his face with the brain in the jar?
Oh.
Oh.
This book is amazing.
Yeah,
it's
it's
also
like-
a great Twitter feed. It's one of my favorite Twitter feeds.
Oh, I
Yes.
Brittany keeps telling me to
So,
look at that. And I
yeah,
love
if you
it.
find the Squirrel Girl Twitter feed, one of the things that you can do is if you take a picture of a squirrel, you can ask them about the squirrel that you took a picture of, and they
She'll
will tell you.
explain.
They'll explain the
No.
squirrel.
She'll be like, oh, that's so and so.
Michelle
He does that.
Morrow had a squirrel picture, and I forwarded it to Squirrel Girl, and
God,
immediately, of
that's-
course, they explained to me what to do. It
I
was
didn't
so.
know that.
Oh my God, that's the best. Oh, I've got to do this now.
It's
So this is the team of Ryan North and Erica Henderson, and I want to say Rico Renzi on colors, but I'm actually going to walk that back because I need to check.
it's hard to describe something so revolutionary. It is a revolutionary book.
Yeah,
It is.
it's great.
It is brilliant.
I caught up on a couple of those over the break too.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, like I'd read a couple of them, but like especially when like once you like start plowing through them in order, and you can't. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm
Well, it's
I'm
just-
still at the
Our
one where they're in
challenge
the
for this year is
past.
figuring out how to talk about Squirrel Girl.
Which is a sentence we have said in 2018.
Yeah, I'm planning to keep catching up on that because I fell in love with
It
over
is
the break,
it is
too.
difficult to explain why like this book is somehow all things all at the same time. There we are. There was a great little image of her yelling about Tony Stark not having proper bathrooms at the Stark building, which was kind of spectacular.
Yeah, like it's kind of like she takes the Mickey out of every single Marvel character while also still respecting it.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre because it, like,
Like she makes fun of Iron Man, yet she still respects Iron Man. But it's not her making fun of Iron Man. You can hear the writer and the artist both like, this is the problem with Iron Man. This is the problem that's always been, or with Doctor Doom, or with this character, or Spider-Man,
Galactus.
whoever. Yeah, Galactus. This is ridiculous. And we're pointing it out, but we're doing so with respect, and it's in narrative.
And letting this-
it's our character who's doing it. She's like, It's like a subtle. It's not a breaking of the fourth wall. It's sort of a peeking through.
But
the
it's
fourth
somehow
wall.
It's like a
weirdly,
it's like
it
a plastic
doesn't-
fourth wall.
It's
Yeah.
not even just like it doesn't even read as a straight up parody book that's like demoted to demolishing all of our favorite things, which I love
Yeah.
and I'm down for, and we'll
It's
read like
not
in lots of
She-Hulk.
context.
Like there's a reason
But
I
it's-
haven't said She-Hulk yet. Yeah.
The classic fourth wall breaking
Yeah.
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
But it's the story of someone trying to go to school and study computer science and be a superhero and making friends and enemies along the way. It is a superhero story that just happens to also be hilarious. And
It's really good.
It's really.
now
good.
I'm mad because I looked down the comments and somebody was like, everything they're describing doesn't really resonate with me, which is totally
That's
fine,
totally
but
fine.
makes me want to try harder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it just
it's true.
it
Very
really feels
true.
like challenge. It's one of those things that's just very and like there's no other medium that I come into where I'm often like stuck like this.
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah. Every once in a while there'll be like a revolutionary TV show or like movie where you're like, how did they
couldn't
pull that off narratively? But like this is just.
I
like,
couldn't even compare it to anything. Like I wouldn't even
Yeah.
know what to compare it to.
I don't know.
Ryan North's webcomics. He's just
Genius. This is absolutely brilliant.
Ryan North.
By the way, I have not read this yet, but I bought it over the break.
Ooh.
Nimona.
Yes!
But
Please report in.
But there's a funny story behind it. So I was talking about the Critical Role comic book with my niece, my 9 to 10-year-old niece. I think she's 9. Over text because she has a phone now and she texts her Aunt Brittany and me all the time. And her
Aw.
she.
I was happy about the first, by the way, official Lovely Wife Brittany reference of 2018, which happened a few minutes ago.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't.
You get to take a quarter out of the jar.
Oh, do I get? So wait, every time I put $1 in for Doctor Strange, but I take a quarter out if I say my lovely wife Brittany?
Now I'm regretting that decision. No.
Because now I just referenced Brittany 4 times.
No, you
Break
don't.
even.
No.
Liz is saying no. Wait, I came up with this. You can't tell me how it works. Everyone knows, Chief. So we were talking about that, and I asked if she liked comic books, and she was like, I've never read any. I've only read Raina Telgemeier.
Yeah!
And I was like, and because of you, I knew who that was. And I was like, oh, I know who that is. What books have you read? And she's like, you know who that is? And she got so excited because her mom and dad don't know who that is.
I've seen so many baffled parents who are like, what just came out of your mouth?
Yeah,
And then the
what?
kid busts out
Yeah.
the 7-syllable name.
Yeah.
Like,
So she was like, oh, I can't
Thanks.
believe you know who this is. Oh, I'm so excited. And she started going off. And she's like, I haven't read Ghosts yet. That's the last one that I have. So for Christmas, Brittany and I got her Ghosts. But I also wanted to get her another book. So we looked at Squirrel Girl and all this other stuff. So we were at Vroman's over the holiday, bookstore in Pasadena. And there was this little boy there. I think he was 8 or 9. And he was looking through all the kids' comic books there. And Brittany and I were sitting there going like, maybe this one, maybe this one. He's like, what are you looking for? And I was like, oh my God, this little kid is the best! And we're like, well, we're actually looking for a comic book for our niece. She's about your age. And he's like, well, let me tell you. And he reaches over and pulls out Nimona and goes, this is the one she's gonna love. You should get this. And he starts telling me about it. And I'm just like, I already know a lot about this because of you, but I'm just gonna let this little adorable 8-year-old boy
this is the best thing that's
pitch me
ever
on
happened. Oh
this
my God.
book. And then he goes through it. He pulled out a couple others. I can't remember which ones he pulled. One of the ones he pulled out, we actually got for her because we were a little afraid that Nimona might be a little
I'm
on the
interested. It
darker
might be
side
sort of
for
a
her.
teen book. I'm curious to hear from like.
This little 8 to 9-year-old boy though was all about it. And one of the
I think
things
he might be advanced.
he might
I
be.
suspect that
He
kid.
might be.
He's pitching books.
But one of my favorite things that he did, I cannot remember the name of it, but it's the one that we ended up getting for her. It's a story about a girl and her unicorn. Do you know which one I'm talking about? It's an all ages book.
There's a book called the Magic Unicorn, but there's another
don't-
one, it's Trixie and something, and I cannot get this.
And I think it's a little princess and her unicorn. And one of my favorite parts of this exchange was that it was a little boy telling me to get a book about a girl hero and her unicorn. And I was just like, there's hope. Like he's not like raving about like boy heroes. He's actually raving about female heroes and what they do, and I was like, oh yay, maybe we're making a difference. Like, so
That
anyway.
kid's parents, wherever you are,
Well done.
keep up the good work.
Yeah,
Solid.
yeah, I
Oh
thought
my
you would like
God.
that.
This is amazing.
So I do have to say, I was finally able to catch up on my Doctor Strange comics.
How is it?
One of the things that I loved Aaron's run on it, but one of the things that I wish, I want Doctor Strange to say magic. I don't like it when they take Doctor Strange's magic away. Like, I understand
There's
like
a
doing
storyline
that.
called Lost Days of Magic.
Yeah, so where like the empirical came through, and they're like a very science-minded technology, and they killed all the magic on Earth.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What's that?
We have a message from Miriam Key.
Oh, my mom!
It says, Matt, your niece is 11.
Oh, I'm so bad. I thought she was so much younger. I think it's maybe because I'm
So very, very old.
I feel
It's an
so
uncle's
very
job to
old.
lose track of time. So
Yeah.
I think that this is adorable, and I know
That's
I'm
my
super
mom.
embarrassing you,
Hi,
but I
Mom.
love like that's in chat right now.
Yeah, no.
Hi, Mom.
This is the cutest. Oh my God.
Oh, great. Now
Meaning
she's
of
gonna
Night
start
says this little
embarrassing.
boy is Amy's legacy character. Yeah, if I dramatically die in like the next day or two, just find that kid and give
Yeah.
him an item of power that belonged to me and,
Yeah.
and explain the whole deal.
Got a hoodie and a, yeah.
I swear she was younger.
And librarian Liz has chimed in on Nimona. Perfectly good middle school book for mature kids. So I think that's our target
Good
level. But please continue with your story after me. Phoebe and her unicorn. Mommy Panda has it.
Oh,
Is it
that's
Phoebe
what.
and her unicorn?
Yep,
Phoebe
that
and
is
the
it.
unicorn.
That is
Wow.
it. And that
Thank
little
you.
boy was raving about it, and I thought that was just like the greatest thing. I was like, oh, that's a
love-
good thing to be happening.
That's so good.
That's a good sign, right?
Kids with commercial opinions always make me happy. I will admit.
He's an art curator. That's
No,
the
it's
thing.
perfect.
The
Yeah.
kid, like, this is great.
And he was there with his mom, and she's like, I don't know, I haven't read any of these. I don't know. I was like, no, this kid is amazing. I love this. So, I mean, she wasn't like shooting him down or anything. She was just like, also just like keeping it like I don't know about these. Like, I didn't do that. It's just like,
Yep,
no,
yep.
this is amazing. This is exactly what we wanted.
Yeah.
Anyway, Doctor, one of the things that I wish that they would, I just like maybe do it for an issue or two. Like, I get the drama of it. Like, oh, he lost his power. It's like it's what they did in Thor Ragnarok. I get that. Like,
you want-
take Mjolnir away. Grrr!
You want to bring the magic back.
But bring the magic back. So one of the things that the new writer is doing, I can't remember the guy's name. He's only written a couple of issues.
Is it Donny Cates?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That guy is busting out.
Yeah. Bringing back that magic so much so, and I don't want to get any spoilers, but like Loki is now the Sorcerer Supreme. But is he? He is. But how? Like, and one of my favorite things that they did, they directly referenced both Into Shambhala and I always get the name wrong. Trial and Torment or
Triumph and Torment?
Triumph and Torment. Thank you. I always get all my T's wrong. They reference both of those things in like the same panel, with like saying that like there's every few years the Vishanti, the three lords of Vishanti, have a tournament to determine the Sorcerer Supreme, and Doctor Strange has won it every single time, and he won it again, but they decided to give the mantle to Loki. Anyway, he's like, and Doctor Strange is like, wait, what? What? No, what? I won. What are you doing? And they're like, yeah, but we're still doing it. We're still giving it to Loki. And he's like, yeah, but you what? You can't do that. So it goes on from there. But Doctor Strange is fighting. He's like, no, Loki is dangerous. And he's starting to figure out like some of the stuff that Loki's actually up to.
Loki's cool, man. Loki ain't doing nothing.
But one of my favorite Doctor Strange moments ever happened in this run.
Oh,
It's one of my favorite.
Wow.
Like, it's one of my, and I think it happened in like the second.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Oh, I'm getting my code wrong.
Them's words.
It's such.
How much is in the jar now? I can't even imagine.
Okay, so Doctor Strange is now a vet. He's a veterinarian, right? And this one particular book stars, like most stories worth telling, this one began and ended with a dog. And then
Cool.
it shows an over-the-shot picture of Doctor Strange, and a dog walking through a doggy door into his office, and the dog says, "Hey Doc, I went and checked on that thing you wanted me to look at. Turns out your witch friend was right. Loki been banging on every magic door in the city trying to," and Doctor Strange goes, "Bats, if you wouldn't mind." And then he looks up at Doctor Strange and he goes, "Oh hey, oops, you in the middle of a thing?" And he goes, "Yes." And then you see that Doctor Strange is working with a family on their cat, and the family is just like staring at this dog. And the dog looks up and he goes, "Oh dang, you ain't told him yet, huh?" No, I have not." "Well, that is on me. Sorry, folks." And he turns around and leaves. It is one of the best, like that to me, like summarizes so much of what I love about Doctor Strange. That like he lives in this weird world and he just takes for granted this weird world that he lives in. The things around him take advantage of this weird world. It's the best.
Is that a basset hound?
It's a basset hound.
That makes it even better.
Oh, look
And
at
his
him
name is
exiting through
Bats.
the door. Look, points for this beautiful panel.
God, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really well done. And like just him, like the proportions are so good. Like the dog just like looking up at Doctor Strange, just like, "Oh, you haven't told him yet? Oh man, that is on me. I am so sorry, folks. I'm gonna just, you do your thing. I'm gonna go."
I love your New York Basset Hound
that's
voice.
where the
Yeah, that's my
basset hound
basset.
voice
That's how he
went.
sounds. And then like look at this beautiful cover.
That's great.
It's the Giving Tree, and like Doctor Strange is there to chop it down. It's
Who
just
is
like,
the artist on this?
let me look it up.
Yeah, sorry.
Gabrielle Wada and Jordi Belair.
Gabriel Walta. The Jordi Belair's the colorist. She's unbelievably amazing. Gabriel Walta is from The Vision, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, that book was
yeah,
amazing.
but
Oh.
like, and I know it is a weighted thing for me to say, but it is
right.
one of my favorite Doctor Strange moments that I've
Sold.
ever read.
Well done.
Like legitimately,
New
and
run.
it's becoming like it's getting to be a very good run. Not that I didn't like the Jason Aaron stuff, I really, really did. But by the end of it, I was like, can he please just have his magic back? I don't need to see Doctor Strange with an axe anymore. We've got Thor Odinson for that. Axe. So sorry.
Apparently now I'm just wondering if Jason Aaron has some kind of like axe thing.
Like an axe to grind or
He does like axes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
an axe man.
Jason, I mean, he's got scalped. Like he's a relatively brutal.
Oh, man has range. Man has
Yeah.
insane range.
Yeah, he's got
Just
insane range.
bonkers range.
Yeah. I loved a lot of what he did with Doctor Strange, and I love the way he spun the mythology a little bit more. But I am excited to see Donnie bringing it a little bit back towards giving
Nice.
Doctor Strange magic.
Back to form.
Back to form a bit. Yes.
Put the toys back in the box.
Yes, put the toys back in the box. Thank you, Donnie.
Bring us what I know you've read more on the break.
So
bring
let's
us
see.
something.
I'm only partway through it, but I'm checking out, of course, very excitedly, based on the last episode, Ed Piskor's X-Men Grand Design.
What a great cover.
So Ed Piskor is a friggin'
Piskor, when was this?
genius cartoonist.
Yeah.
Number 2 came out this week. I've got it behind me, but
I
haven't
didn't
looked
know
at that
this-
one yet.
Oh man, I feel like
He's been working on this for years. This is the writer and artist of the book Hip Hop Family Tree, which was one of the a couple years back, something. It's won a bunch of awards.
Yeah.
I got to watch him accept one of those awards where he said if he thought he had a chance of winning, he would not have worn a T-shirt. It was like a Hanes tee and his bucket hat. It was the cutest.
How very Comic-Con.
It was amazing. So he fascinates me because he's an incredible cartoonist. I'm someone who came at Hip Hop Family Tree, which was initially serialized like in boing boing, like a page at a time. Or something like that online. And then eventually they made a print deal with Fantagraphics. And one of the things that really distinguished his work is that he loves, he was raised on comics and hip hop, apparently. Those were like the things. But one thing he loves about vintage comics is that he's incredibly meticulous about the look of them. He uses a palette of colors, which is the result of scanning an old issue of Hawkman and like an old issue of Superman, I think, and picking out the exact 3 colors that he makes all the rest of his colors out of. Now, I know that's what he does for Hip Hop Family Tree. I haven't checked if he's using the same process for
but
X-Men Grand Design.
It does the color
But
though
I'm
does look
pretty
like very,
sure he is doing
Even
that.
the paper has a.
So he picks his paper carefully. He picks his colors incredibly carefully, and he's drawing inspiration from the entire history of comics. One thing that fascinates me about him is that like some of his artistic heroes are my very favorites, and some of his artistic heroes are my like not favorites. He loves Liefeld, loves his art.
Really?
Grew up on it, like drawing it in the things. And it was one of the things that made him the artist he is today. And it's very interesting because, like, you know, I have different feelings about that, but I cannot argue with the effect it produced in the form of Ed Piskor, who is a brilliant cartoonist whose storytelling sense is insane, and who, you know, so what he did with Hip Hop Family Tree was take me from someone who, like, you know, I'm alive in our time period, so I had some knowledge, but I had no real insight into sort of the way that hip hop emerged from the cultural scene of the late 70s in New York City and like parties and rec rooms and watching, he called it Hip Hop Family Tree because he's sort of like, this guy heard that guy and was inspired by this and these circumstances, and he does these kind of heightened cartoon versions of the major early figures and takes you through the early years and the development with a sense of humor, but also sort of distilling everything down to their like iconic elements in a way that translated them. From what I have heard from people who were already experts, it holds up. He's got a lot of really cute pictures of like people posing with their versions of themselves from the book.
That's cool.
And for me, as somebody who didn't have a lot of that backstory, it was like reading any beautiful, elaborate fantasy novel where you're like, that person's related to that person, and they listen to this. Like, I was reading it like Game of Thrones, but for hip hop.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
But it's
that might be the best pitch I've ever had for that book.
Game of Thrones, but
like I've always wanted, like that's been on my list for a while. But like what you just said, I was like, well, I need to go get it now.
And you will then get stunned because a piece of knowledge you do have will come in, and you're like, that guy did that. Like, you get real excited about it, and then you feel really dumb because you're like, everyone in the universe knew that but me.
Yeah.
So,
I can assure you that
that's a
is
stunning
not
book.
true because I definitely did not know what you already knew going into it.
so long story, still long. Ed Piskor is an amazing cartoonist who I would basically redo anything, but it happens that he loves the X-Men. He loves the X-Men, like a lot of us love the X-Men, but with also forming his entire artistic persona there, and somehow got a project in the works where he is retelling the history of the X-Men in his style. It's called X-Men Grand Design.
The entire history?
I believe he's starting...
Like starting with X-Men 1?
Essentially, he's weaving it up through at least the end of Claremont, but I'm not sure how much he's planning on.
Fantastic.
Here's my favorite. Like, he is doing citations for the stuff that happens. He always does citations in Hip Hop Family Tree where he's like, I got this detail from that and blah, 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 and this record is here. And in this case, he's sort of like, you know, he retells a version of Namor's attack on New York City as the starting point for the public face of mutants. And then in the back, he's like, well, that happened in this issue. And here's the thing where Xavier's parents get established as working on that and blah, blah, blah. So I'm a little confused about formatting because there are eventually, I think, going to be 6 of these. But right now it's published as a 1 out of 2, 2 out of 2, and they're going to do nice, big, oversized, pretty versions of it. Here's the next cover.
Iceman is amazing.
Particular style. Hold on, somewhere here. Yes. We'll
There
get
it
this
is.
eventually.
Is it in my imagination that there's a little bit of Evan Dorkin in there too?
I believe because they come out of the same 90s indie comics kind of generation.
I'm seeing a little bit of like in the panel design and in the face structure. There's a little bit of Evan. I get a hint of Evan Dorkin. Not always.
So yeah,
That's practically Eltingville.
I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Magneto Xavier chess game, such a classic. Oh wow. Oh, that's really good design.
Oh, and he knows what to do with a page. So look at the start to finish on this page.
Oh God, yeah, no, we got to show that. This is amazing.
What?
Look at this.
Two phases that are very important in Charles's life.
And then look at like the beginning here, and then the ending down here. Oh wow.
I'm sorry, Gabrielle.
That's amazing.
Folks who've been watching the show for quite a while remember one of our very first episodes where we talked about the wonderful TV show Legion, which is inspired by a certain guy who's apparently about to show up at the end of that page.
Wow.
Spoilers for the history of the X-Men, I guess.
The entire history of the X-Men.
So yeah, this I'm just so excited about. I can't wait to. I hope he talks about, like, I haven't gone to see if he's discussed his process on this, but I'm really curious about all of this distillation.
Wow. Amazing. I am all about this.
Oh,
right
and
now.
thank you, Happering Circus, who says they're doing it as 3 2-part miniseries. So 1 and 2 will be a set, 3 and 4 will be a set, 5 and 6 will be a set, which would explain
Nice.
why I saw him say it was a 6-parter, but that says 1 of 2. Producer Liz has walked over with a sign that literally says "Yay Legion." Important notes, and this is why we know we're working with the right people.
Well, I believe that it's time for our 5-minute topic. Do we
Oh
have
my
that selected?
goodness.
Oh no. Okay.
We sure do. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Okay.
Are we ready for our 5-minute topic?
First one of the year, 2018. How much is this going to make me pull my hair? Okay.
Mackie, Taliesin Jaffe, Amy, Dallen, we are the Wednesday Club, and every week we get you all to send us some impossible to answer question, which we will only have 5 minutes to break down. And this week the winning topic comes from Oifig, and the topic is pick a book you'd love to read on a vacation, then describe the perfect trip to accompany the read.
Wait, have we already read the book? So like, it's a book that we want to read that we haven't read, or a book that we've read?
The phrasing says pick a book you love to read
Yes.
on a vacation, but I'm not. I think you could go either way with this one.
So
either pick a few, like a book you would like to read and the circumstances under which, or a book you already love and the vacation to go with it.
I got an easy one. I got a cheap thrill. I got a cheap thrill on this one, which is that if you're a macabre, morose person, then
I don't know anyone like that.
I don't know anyone like that. I would love to do a walking tour of London while reading From Hell.
Oh man.
I don't know if I would enjoy. I mean, I would love it, but.
So From Hell, just for those of you
Yeah.
who don't know, is a interesting take on the Ripper murders, of the historical Ripper murders, and it is painstakingly researched, and every image in that book actually comes from a real place and place and time, and is very well researched. There are liner notes that are like almost as thick as their own book in the back, and you could actually make a walking tour of the entire book, which would be amazing, of actually seeing where each of these historical moments happened, all the way from Cleopatra's Needle to the Hawksmoor churches, and and then the various pubs that show up. That would be a really fascinating like week-long trip through London. Like not even just doing a Ripper tour, which is interesting for what it is, but specifically doing a From Hell tour. Woo, there's mine.
That's an amazing answer.
Yeah, I don't want to follow that.
Suck it! Woo! Okay, no, that's mine.
Man.
Too dark, but.
Do you have anything?
I'm still thinking about it because it's an interesting question, because the book that you read, I wouldn't want something where it's like I will be distracted by the cool stuff I could be doing, but I'll want to spend all my time inside with a book. So I need the right book to pair with this, but something where you have like I would love to pick books for an ocean voyage. I mean, it would be catching up on the collected works of Lucy Bellwood to start, because she literally writes about sailing, and it'd be the cutest to actually be on a boat while that happened. But something where like you can come out, you're surrounded by this setting, and there's beautiful scenery coming and going, but there's also long stretches where there's just literally nothing to do. And if you could get some, because ideal reading time is uninterrupted solitude. And if I said like I want to go, to the moon, I guess that would also have long stretches of solitude I couldn't break. But
Yeah.
It'd be one thing to say like I want to go to the most raging party on the planet, but then have crazy mixed feelings the whole time because I'm really torn between a desire to see all of this like carnival that's going on in Rio and read my book. Although, now that you've put into my head, how many answers do I get? Now that you've put into my head the idea of this, I want to read, because I love comics based on real stories. I would love to do that with a bunch of different books. There's a book called Two Brothers, adapted by Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba, who are in fact two brothers, but unrelated. It's just a very famous novel, apparently, but it depicts areas of Brazil, and I would love to, do the tour alongside that one. That's such a good idea. I just want to steal it.
So one of my biggest comic book sins is that I've never finished Sandman.
Yep.
And I love New Orleans, I think New Orleans is one of the most soulful, spiritual, beautiful, most historical, incredible cities I've ever been to. So I would love to take the remaining books of Sandman and just sit in every single cafe I can find. Cafe, pub, bar, absinthe bar, hotel.
Win the lottery and rent a mansion there and sit on the porch.
Yes, like sit on the porch of like Frenchman Street or like on like in the French Quarter and just watch people walk by as I read Sandman. Like I would love to do that. Like because I think I've got like 5 trades of it left. That would be
that's a good city for comic book reading.
Yeah, it really is. So
I think that would be a good mix. It's that mix I'm looking for of I want a lot of potential stimulus, but also a city that makes you feel like you're not wasting it if you take some time.
Preacher on a Road Trip.
yes,
Oh!
that would be great too.
It's a good road trip book.
Yeah, so I have to say this because I think I'll get in trouble if I don't. That's not true. I'll actually probably get in trouble if I do say it. But the first thought I had was because that question was great for me because every single year I've gone to Burning Man, I read Into Shambhala, Doctor Strange, because it's like this weird, trippy like thing.
I read Watchmen once at
Oh, that's beautiful.
I was
That's
actually
cool.
on a boat with family when I read Blankets,
Yeah.
and it was perfect to be far away and just trapped in a room
Oh,
and
that is really nice.
experience loneliness.
That's been
Yeah!
that's been our 1 minute.
Speaking of loneliness,
One shot, or 5 minute one shot.
Thank you so much for that awesome
That was
topic,
great. That was
Ophig.
great.
Please, if you have answers to this one, tweet them at us because I'd love to know everybody's answer.
Yeah,
This is a
that was
great question.
Great question.
And that was our 5-minute topic. For Amy Dallen, Taliesin Jaffe, Matt Key, thank you for watching the Wednesday Club.
thank you.
That was such a good
great.
answer.
That was
Let's
such a
go
good
to New
question.
Orleans
I'm
and
thinking about like what's a
Sandman.
good cruise book? Like I really want to know what's
or
a good.
like, I mean, it depends if you're on a tall ship, then it's Lucy Bellwood. It's all rigging and like actual nautical stuff. But what else?
Watchmen could be fun just because of all the pirate stories.
Yeah.
It was a weird read. It was a weird read that one year. It was many years ago. It was, but like for reasons.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Great for a cruise.
God, I'm gonna
Airship.
be.
If you are on an airship and you need a book to read,
Yeah.
League.
League. Perfect.
Man, I'm gonna
Or
be
Girl
kicking-
Genius.
Or Girl Genius.
Well, we've got about 10 minutes left. Do we have any great questions from the chat that we want to end on?
Stargazer says I would choose reading Monstrous while visiting an inn in Kyoto, which is a great Kyoto.
Ooh.
That's
Oh wow.
a great
It's been a
idea.
while. Just I have less to this is less to talk about, but I finally caught up on Archie and Betty and Veronica.
Oh,
which was
good.
great.
Really?
Well, yeah, and like my family, because I was out there with my family, we were like catching up on Riverdale too. So like watching Riverdale while getting into the new modern introduction of Cheryl Blossom was really like
Yeah.
that was really great. I reread 52 for reasons I was like,
I need to reread 52.
Umbrella Academy because I know they're making the TV series, which I'm speaking of Ba and Moon and.
See, I've never actually been to Paris, and I probably wouldn't want to stop and read an Umbrella Academy if I were in Paris, but it sounds fun.
No, there's a good. I gotta say, like I found a couple places in Europe to sit and read. Like finding parks to sit and read in is extremely satisfying. I found there's a little park behind St. Patrick's Cathedral that's all dedicated specifically to the great Irish writers, and so they have like little chairs to sit and read.
Where would I need to go to read Wictive? Are there specific clubs that I should be near?
Oh man, where did I almost want to go to the noise room at Bunker if it were still around and just let
You could
Franck,
be making that up. I don't know.
let Uncle Franck like no, the noise room at Bunker is long gone now.
Yeah.
Frank's now a pastry chef.
So I need a time machine.
I know. I don't know where to where is the best place to read Wicked and Divine other than like in the back room of the worst rave ever. A rave so bad you're like fuck it, I'm reading.
I was trying to think of like the famous venues, and like CBGB was one of the first ones I thought of. But I was
But-
like, well,
but-
but that's gone too.
England. It's got to be
England.
somewhere in London, right?
I
I
don't know,
assume they
yeah.
spend most of their time in London. See, I don't even know enough of my geography to remember which parts of the book take place where.
A lot of them are
Listeners in London or
Yeah.
in Europe, tell us where we should read.
Miss Sunflower goes, a graveyard, Amy. Well, yes.
Yeah, but that's also where you read Hellboy.
Felt some great graveyards in Ireland, man.
Oh man, I got a
nuts.
great text from Liam over the break. He was reading BPRD.
Yes, he was. On the other side of.
Yeah.
He was on the other side of Ireland. Ironically,
yeah, he was
like
in Ireland, right? Yeah.
he was in Ireland. I was in Ireland, and Yuri and Tara were in Ireland. Like a whole bunch of us were there, but we were all in different parts of Ireland, so it was like it was just useless.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, he was like, I love BPRD, and he credited me for helping get him on that. And I was like, did my job.
Man, yeah, I've read a
Oh
lot
my
of
God,
comic books in
WDB did a
graveyards.
walking tour of Jersey City based on G. Willow Wilson's recommendations, and now I want to do
Oh,
that. The
wow.
Ms. Marvel tour of Jersey City.
Great.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. I'd be totally into that. That's
Please
a great
invent
idea.
a tourist industry based around Kamala Khan.
Actually, someone should create a tourist industry based on comic books.
Yeah, no, comic book tourism I would be totally into.
I'd be totally into that.
Ooh, Alf Sharp says take Swamp Thing hiking. That sounds creepy and wonderful.
Ooh, yeah, Swamp Thing in a bayou.
Are we good to announce that?
Yeah.
Yay!
Wow, we have an announcement.
We can do our letters column more properly because we now have some place for you to send them. Electronic letters.
And a mail address.
The Wednesday Club at
No
gmail.com.
spaces.
Yeah, no spaces at
At
Gmail.
geekandsundry.com.
At geekandsundry.com. I read it wrong. At geekandsundry.com. We have a Geek and Sundry email.
The Wednesday Club at geekandsundry.com. Thank you, Chief.
Yay!
We are not technically officially requesting your erotic fan fiction.
Oh, wait, I'm not.
Taliesin.
Chief
I'm
might be-
not saying. No. I'm not saying you can't do it. Just keep it
Liz
on.
will definitely read
just
it first.
Keep it on the
will
Tumblr,
vet
kids.
it.
I'm not going to tell you you can't do it, but
kids, and we get it.
we get it.
But
Keep it on the
Chief says
Tumblr.
I am.
I am.
Yeah.
But yes,
I don't even know our P.O. box, but he suggested it also send stuff to the P.O.
Hoobada
box.
hoobada. Yeah. Well, and that may be changing soon. We're working on that.
Yeah, well,
But
who knows?
God, I'm trying to God. There was so much good stuff. I read other stuff too. It was a really.
I read the second trade paperback for Black Hammer. Like that is
Jelly.
That is one book that I fell in love with. Like when we did our Eisner episode. Like those first 6 issues have haunted me. Same with Harrow County, but I didn't get a chance to pick any of. I'm still like stuck in the first or this third trade, but. Man, both of those books this year just like nailed me. Like, oh, Black Hammer is so good, and the cliffhanger
there's a
at the
spin-off
end.
from Black Hammer going on
Is there
right
really?
now called Sherlock Frankenstein and the Legion of Evil.
Ooh, good
No.
It's coming out. It's like 2 or 3 issues in.
Oh, that's the best. Oh, I know why that's awesome.
Jeff
I know why
Lemire,
that's awesome because that shows up.
we
in,
get to
in
go
the
forever, right?
second
There's
trade.
no time's been abolished. It's 2018. You don't know.
This is not. It's not
Anything-
It's not okay to make the sexy sax man noise whenever I come behind camera.
Yeah, no, it is. It's perfect.
It is. It is
Yeah,
not,
no,
because
bury that one.
We're
Yeah,
grown-ups.
no,
We're
yeah,
grown-ups.
going- we're
not
going up.
touching that one.
It's 2018. There are no rules anymore.
That isn't how it works.
That's.
Woo! Anarchy.
Definitely rules.
So for next week, I believe we're talking about fanzines. Do I remember correctly?
What? How did that? I think it was going to be an all letters column special, right?
Was it?
I think that was the plan.
I don't remember.
That was the original plan, and then you brought up fanzines today. I was like, what?
So next week we're just doing the Daily Wednesday.
Essentially, it's a giant letter column.
It's an all-day Daily Wednesday, including it's going to be extra
I know what
comfort
you're thinking
edition.
of, because we were going to talk a little bit about the history of letter columns,
Yes.
and you were like, and fanzines, as in like their
Yes.
role in the history of the comics industry. I'm back on track.
Okay.
Yep. So we're going to do our first official letters column, and we're going to talk about letters columns and fan interaction in the history of comics, and for instance, fanzines.
It's going to be ridiculous.
When you said fanzine, I went straight to like that Squirrel Girl just had a fanzine issue, and Ryan North has this weird side mission of like, he did an Adventure Time too. There is an Adventure Time comic issue that is a zine made by the characters of Adventure Time, because Ryan North is making the world so much better, and he's ruining a generation of children with art and sneaky subversive ideas, and I love it. I love everything about it. So that's where my brain went when you said fanzine.
Gotcha. Well, I didn't mean to do that to you. That
like,
was
we're
an
covering
unexpected
that? That's so cool.
consequence of my question.
I
Next week, letter columns.
I have some evil plots for next week too, but we'll see if they actually come to fruition or not. So it'll be interesting. I know.
I think I know what you're
You
saying.
might. Yes, you should be really worried.
You know who should not be worried? Sax.
We need to. No. He's gonna kill us.
He's gonna. Yeah.
Doctor Strange jar is
man.
going to become a reality. I think I got it all out today. I was like, because if it's back next week, I won't be able to talk about it. So, boom, boom, boom!
Y'all are-
Never again!
This is great. First of all, you're still giving vacation suggestions.
Oh.
Cabeza de Cerveza says Ghost World on a long bus ride,
That's a
which
good
is
one.
amazing.
that
Symmetra
is a
says
good
up is
one.
left, down is taupe. Chaos rules us now, which is amazing.
So true.
Dons points out the time variable overflowed at the start of 2018. It's okay. You have plenty of time now.
That's very.
She
Thank
says
God.
he already has a jar. I'm so screwed.
I've already talked to him about it.
Of course you have.
Now if we can just put a
I
big
made a
red-
joke and now it's real.
There's going to be a
Great.
big red cape on the jar.
I'm gonna have to go to the bank every week.
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah, it's man. I actually managed to not even get through everything I read, which is pretty cool. That's what I was hoping.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, I think we have to end it.
It is. It is
Thor
time.
in Norway.
Thor in
I'm
Norway.
just going to
Yeah.
keep thinking about this question forever.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
No, it is a really good one. It's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, everybody, we love you. Thank you for joining us on the Wednesday Club.
Thank you all.
It's good to be back. 2018. Ow!
No rules.
You are,
I'm Amy Dallen. Hello.
and you are.
You can find me at Enthusiasm.
I'm Taliesin Jaffe, and you can find me at Executive Goth everywhere. Everywhere it matters.
And I'm Matt Key at the Matt Key. Thank you for joining us on Wednesday Club, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Good night and good luck.
Same Wednesday channel. Same
Same.
Wednesday time.
Sundry time.
Geek.